I do apologise for that. My computer went absolutely tits up then. Complete crash. I lost everything. I'm back. Maybe it's PM10's lap time around the course that was a problem. So let's ignore that. So we'll have a look and see who's out on track and who's there. And I do apologise. Don't know what happened, but it absolutely crashed completely on me. Not a lot I could do about that. It wasn't an internet issue, it was a computer issue. My computer worked perfectly all day, and then today it decided to crap out. Just my luck, isn't it? But we're back, and hopefully everything is working again properly. It seems to be. So, our runners this evening. Let's have a little look and see who we've got. Right, so in the room we have TJ. He's in the Porsche 919 Hybrid. Smokey Tom has gone for the Peugeot 908. There is Fubar. He has opted for the 919 Hybrid as well. Wiggy's gone old school. He's gone for the Porsche 962C. Very iconic LeMans car that is. Then we've got Stormfly in the. He's in the Nissan R92 CP. Old man Jay's gone for the 919 Hybrid as well. And I apologise for my dog going mental in the background, and my family just arrived home. There is Mr. Colum. He's in the GR010 Hybrid 2021. Grizz Troopers in the 919 Hybrid as well. And popular car for this track. The Mazda 787 for Yellow Sausages. Jersey, and welcome to the team, my friend. That's a 919 Hybrid for him. Avalon Shadow, he is also, I think, in the 919 Hybrid. And I apologise for the noise in the background. Not a lot I can really do about it at the moment. There's Brian, I'm not sure what car he's in. I'll be back in. Apologies for that, and everyone piling in through the front door at the opportune moment. So we've got 12 in the room at the moment. We are expecting a couple more. Hopefully they'll arrive in time for qualifying. So in terms of current times, they're all on their phone. We've got a few times in. Wiggy so far with the fastest lap, he's done a 3:24.6. That's quite a good representative lap for first qualifying lap. Expect it to be low 21s maybe for qualifying for some of the faster cars. Fubar is in the 919 Hybrid, lovely pink car that, 27.1 for him. Smokey Tom's done a 31.3. He's gone for the Peugeot 908, which is they're all decent cars at this level, aren't they? Stormfly with a he hasn't set that yet, but he's got a penalty, so that's not going to be a great lap for him. A 3:33. We certainly know go quicker than that in that classic Nissan R32. Old man Jay in the 919 has done mid 25s already, so I expect to see that kind of lap coming out from him. Thank you, Kevin. Thanks for joining us, buddy. We did have a computer crash earlier, so it's but we're back up and running again.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join mine now in the fight for mental health. Mental health problems.
Such a long lap here that when you see people like Old Man Jay there just had that problem. Such a long lap that if you do crash, you've got a whole long way to go to have another crack at it. 2 tyre compounds required for tonight. The room's set up for a full 24-hour race period. So we will start the race at 8 PM, so about 20 minutes time. And then the time will cycle a full day and night cycle. They will have to change the tyres and obviously refuel at some stage. Required 2 different compounds, and the fuel will refill at about 3 litres per second. So the hybrids with a slight advantage over the others, but yeah, I think it balances itself out. When you look at some of these old cars, particularly the Porsche, very, very quick in a straight line, much better straight line speed than the more modern, the GR010 and the 919, losing a bit of straight line speed to the others, but even still a very, very good solid lap. And we'll be back with you very shortly. Apologies, I am back. Just checking my computer was alright, we didn't have any more problems later on. But I think everything is now sorted. Apologies for that. So, let's have a quick look at qualifying times, because the fastest man on track now is Yellow Sausages in the Mazda 878B. He's done a 3:23.3. That's a very, very solid lap. Now, in terms of pit times, I think we're probably looking, in terms of the of how far into the race, I think it's going to be a good hour into this race before we see anyone going into the pits. There's two distinct strategies really. They've got to run two different tyre compounds. The softs will last a full stint without too much of a problem. So I imagine they'll be running softs and mediums. I think it's going to be, for the most part, two-stop strategy today. But you may see one or two going for a three-stop. We've got light damage on, but that obviously repairs itself as you drive anyway. We haven't gone for the full damage here, purely because we don't want people to crash and burn, really. So Stormfly, currently second fastest, 3:23.8. Wiggy with a 3:24.6. Hasn't been able to improve on that time in that Porsche 962C. There is Fubar running in, he was fourth, he's now fifth, as Avalon puts in a 25.3, and Fubar with a 25.9. Parked up on the side of the road, don't know why that is. Hopefully there's not a terminal problem. There's Kaloum from Canada, welcome to the team, good first race with us as well. That's a 3:26.888 in that GR010 hybrid. Smoky Tom back in Black Flag after his little disappearance off to those who shall not be named. He's gone for the Peugeot 908, and that's a 3:31.3. Old Man Jay with a 3:35.4. He can go quicker than that. Just waiting to see what sort of times he puts in. And obviously we'll see a sort of fluctuation in times, particularly when it gets to the night-time portion of the evening. Gridge Troopers, he's gone for that 919 hybrid, as he's just getting passed there by the Mazda 787 of Yellow Sausages. And it's a 3:37.6 for Gridge Troopers so far. Jersey from the United States, there's a couple from the United States in there, which is always good. He's putting in another fresh lap, so he hasn't put in of representative time just yet. BM Racing 919 hybrid. He is going to cross the line and give us a lap soon. He's on the hot lap now. Devin Calypso has decided to join us last minute. Thanks for jumping in, Devin. Enjoy the race, buddy. He's gone for that TS050 hybrid Toyota, which is an interesting choice. No one else has gone for that, actually. Good choice for that. Very similar to the 010, but he's gone for the 050. Where is he? He's disappeared. Has he been disconnected, I wonder? We will see. We will see.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
So Yellow Sausage is fastest out there with a 3:20.3. Then we've got TJ. He has decided to go out again with a fresh pair of boots. Now, surely the best bet would be to give yourself the best opportunity for quick qualifying is to use this 30-minute session to burn and down the fuel and make the car lighter rather than jump in, refill and put on fresh tyres. They should stay fresh enough for the half hour you're running the qualifying session. And I think those that are lightening the load, like Yellow Sausages, like Stormflyers, like Wig Ears, Avalon Shadow, these are the guys that are going to see the best performance out of their cars. How you doing, Aaron? Good of you to join us, buddy. Apologies for the technical issues earlier on. My computer went kaput, and yeah, it just went a little bit mental on me. Everything shut down. I had to restart everything. Fubar in the pits, changing out the tyres. Again, as I said, filling up and putting tyres and look, it's going to slow your car down because you've got more fuel on board. Coulomb from Canada, 3:26.7 for him. currently 7th on the grid. Smoky Tom just parked up in that Peugeot 328.5. He's probably gone for a ciggy, you know. He's gone for a ciggy and didn't really want to go in the pits, which is not a bad shout. It is a 3-hour race after all. Old Man Jay currently 10th on the grid. Looks like he's just had a little spin there, so he's going to have to run all the way around this lap because this one's not going to be quick either. Brian Moncani in that 919. Loving the livery on that, very, very cool. 332.2 for him. Grizz Troopers from the United States, 337. And Devlin Calypso, he's changed out the car, he's gone for that 908. I think he worked out very quickly that wasn't going to be the right car for him, the 050, and opted for the 908. For me, I mean, I've run some laps around here over the last couple of days. Obviously not as many as these guys. These guys have been practicing. It's been several hours practicing, to be fair, for this. I've run around in the 919, and for me, that's the best race car out here. I've not got the experience of these faster guys that can drive these older GR1 cars. So I went for speed through the twistier section at the back, which is essentially the bit where you've got the Porsche curves and all that kind of thing. Because the 919 is literally the only car that can go flat out through those Porsche curves, and it just gains you so much time. I think most are going to go for a starting strategy on the soft compound tyres. They will have to run another compound at some point throughout the race, but because it's a sort of two-stop, I mean, look, you can one-stop this race, but I don't think you can do that with significant pace. So I think the best way forward here is to two-stop it, run the softs for the first stint, mediums for the second stint, and run it as long as you possibly can. If you can run to a sort of hour and 10, hour and 15 minutes on each stint, then you can plop on some softs, just a little tank of a little quarter tank of fuel or whatever you need, and do the last half hour at full pelt with a light fuel load to maybe gain you a place or two. We've put a rule in place about overtaking back markers. The likelihood is, I mean, I know it's a long lap, it's a 3-minute odd lap, but the likelihood is towards the end of the 3 hours we will see some back markers being lapped, and in that scenario it's very simple. You're only going to do it on the straights. There's enough straights here to not be compromising the back markers race through the corners. So all the lapping will be done on these very long straight sections. So let's do an onboard with Wiggy, because he's not far off. I know he's a little bit further back. Trying to find somebody that's about to start a lap. Let's just go on board with Jersey, new driver to us, as he loses the car there, gets it back under control, and we'll run a full lap here around Le Mans. We've got about 7 or 8 minutes left before the Argo's coming into the pits. Just my luck, isn't it? Just my luck. Nobody's in the right part of the racetrack for me. Avalanche Shadow, there we go. Assuming he doesn't pull off into the pits, of course. So this is where you start. You go through the Ford chicane. This will start up your lap, and here you go. Cross the line, and the first move is into the Dunlop curve, which is a long full pelt right-hander, taking you up to the Dunlop chicane. And on the brakes, you get it turned in. That iconic Dunlop footbridge, shaped like a tyre, of course, and you go underneath that, and then that takes you round to the S's, which is here, and 4th, 5th gear, you can go around those quite easily. Keep on the power, and then it's full power down until you move into this really, really long straight, and it's full pelt all the way now, up into your highest gear. Depending on which car you're in, you can get somewhere between 180 to 200 miles an hour, depending on the car. So the older cars will benefit from a little bit of a speed boost here, and you've got to bear in mind with a bit of slipstream here, this is a very, very awesome place to overtake. And then you've got this little chicane right in the middle, just to break up the racetrack a bit. That was put in just to slow some cars down after quite a lot of accidents. back in the 1960s, I believe. And then you follow the straight all the way down till you get to Mulsanne. Got another chicane coming up here. Faster the chicane, you can go into it in sort of 5th, 4th gear, changing down again just for the switch back to the right hand side, and then back to the left again. And then you head up, drifting out to the left hand side before you get to Mulsanne, which is a tricky right hand turn, because you are literally getting on the brakes almost as you're turning the car in. So you're turning the car in here, you're going to let off, that's when you're braking, drifting out to the left hand side, down into 2nd and 3rd gear, get the car rotated and back on the power again as you head down towards the iconic Indianapolis and Homage. And as I said, it's a lot of time on the accelerator here, literally not letting off so much pressure on the car. In top gear, in 7th gear, and we can't top these cars out. So you turn in here, then you're on the brakes into Indianapolis. Down into 3rd gear, keeping on the power as much as possible. Big braking zone here for Homage. Down into 2nd gear, 1st gear even, if you need that rotation. Then you're back on the power again and heading down towards the Porsche curves. So you've got the Porsche curves, then you've got the Corvette curves. And this is where the 919 is strong. You can absolutely flat out through here into the Porsche curves here, which is why the Porsche is so strong. All the way around, it's round to the left hand side and then the right hand side, and then it's the Corvette curves here. These are the Corvette curves. Again, flat out, little lift there maybe you didn't need to. Into the Ford chicane, which is where you end your lap. This is looking pretty quick actually. This is your Ford chicane. And then on the power and off you go, and that is the end of your lap. And that lap for Avalon Shadow, not too shy of his fastest lap, which was a 3:21.5, and he is currently sitting 3rd. So front row will be Yellow Sausages. He's got a 3:20.3 in that Mazda 787. TJ, he is not far off from it, only half a second slower in that 919 hybrid, 2016 of course. And then we've got Wiggin, another classic. He's gone for the other Porsche, the Porsche 962. What it lacks around the corners, it gains in straight line speed. 3:22.1 for him. Then Colum from Canada, and with his first race with us, he's showing some exceptional pace. 3:24.5 in the G010 hybrid, which of course we saw not so long ago in GT Fusion. There's Fumar, he's also gone for that the very popular 919 hybrid, which is, to be fair, it's down to how, if you're incredibly talented, you could probably get away with one of the more classic cars. But, actually it looks like Stormfly's on pole because he's done a 3:19.7, but he's not on track, so it'd be Stormfly from Yellow Sausages, from TJ from Wiggy. Colum would be 5th, Fubar in that 919 hybrid. 3:25.06, 1:25. Imagine doing this lap in 1:25. It'd be insane. 3:25.9 for him. Then BM Racing, Brian Moncani. He is 8 seconds back from Colum. A few people jumping in the pits actually. So I think they're happy with their current times, because we are literally 1 minute away from the start of this 3-hour race. And so much so, got a bottle of fizzy pop, should we call it, to keep me going. So before this race starts, let's just have a reminder of why we are doing this.
£40 could help keep Mind's supportive online community side by side open for another hour, helping to connect people and feel less alone.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
There you go, there is the track. That is what we're going to be looking at today. No need to leave that up on the screen. That's what we want to see. We are pretty much ready to start. Old Man Jay's your host this evening, and we're starting in the afternoon, so we will have a good bit of running before we finally hit the darkness of night. And if you're watching and you can afford a few quid, please chuck a donation away. We've already made over 300 quid, and we will hopefully hit our. We've got a provisional target of 500, but we have got 5 races like this. This is the first. It's at LeMans. Then we're going to have races at Daytona Road. We're going to have a race at where else are we going? I can't believe I've forgotten. Oh, Bathurst, of course. We're going to Bathurst. We are going also to Spa, another iconic racetrack, home of a 24-hour race. And you can't do a 24-hour race without visiting the Nürburgring 24-hour course. And that is not just Nordschleife, that's Nordschleife and the GP track, of course. That will be, well, essentially we've got this week. We skip next week because we've got the last round of the GT Fusion World Championships to do. And then it's every week, bar Christmas week, until we've got this all done and dusted. So do come and get involved if you want to. We've got a full room today, obviously, but so here we go. We have 14 in. We are ready to go. Stormfly is your leader, and we are going to have to jump out of the room as soon as the lights start to go on, as you know. So we wait for the lights to start. And there we go. So jump out very quickly. And then we can get back in very quickly. And we are away. Stormfly is away first. Hang on, where are we? So TJ makes a move up into the lead. Stormfly drops 4 places from the start. 5. Not a great start from Stormfly. And that's TJ up into the lead in that 919. Avalon Shadow up into second with Fubar in third place. Do we have a bit of carnage there? We do. A few cars getting a little bit feisty into turn 1. You've got to remember, guys, it's a 3-hour race. It's not 1 into turn 1. It's a penalty there for Smoky Tom. Penalty for Devlin Calypso. Yeah, a little bit touching for both there. So everyone a little bit too feisty into the turn there, and that's not what you want to see this early on in a 3-hour race. We've got a guest in ZFS Ash, and welcome to the race, buddy. Make sure you chuck a donation in. He has gone for that very, very space age looking Mazda. Very space age. But we'll see how it pans out as we see Colombo make a massive, massive dive, and a big touch from Ash into the braking zone. You've got to be more careful. That's an absolutely shocking bit of driving there from Ash. Absolutely shocking. You can't be doing that, 3-hour race or not. You've got to understand your braking zone, particularly when you've got slipstream. And Yellow Sausage is showing just how powerful those older cars are with a move around TJ in the early stages of this race. So we're already seeing some great action here. Yellow Sausage is up into the lead. TJ sticking with him with that 919. But the straight line speed on that Mazda, absolutely phenomenal. Avalon Shadow running in third place. Wiggy in fourth. And we've got Stormfly in fifth. Didn't have a great start, Stormfly, especially considering he was on pole. But he's now running in fifth place. Colum down in sixth. He is in that Toyota. And then Ash, who absolutely shocking in the at the end of the straight there, with the braking zone not being so him not braking in the right place in the braking zone, I should say. Fuwa running in 8th place. We've got Old Man J running in 9th. Grizz 1.2 seconds behind him. Smoky Tom with 5 seconds worth of penalties. That's a lot of penalties to be running this early on. But it is a 3-hour race. Plenty to be getting on with. Brian Moncarney in 12th place. Jersey just behind him, looking to try and make a move here, with Devlin Calypso also tucked in behind there, looking for some kind of move early on. But 3 hours is a long time, and a lot can happen in this period. And Devlin will be serving his penalty. This is where the penalty line is. It does cost you quite some time. Smoky Tom will be serving his penalty. He'll drop down the order. There we just see him slowing up there in the distance, and we'll see Devlin Calypso doing the same thing. They've both served their penalties, and on they go in 13th and 14th place. So Yellow Sausages and TJ started to open up a big gap at the front. Yellow Sausages just 2 tenths up from TJ, but the gap, 5 seconds already, back to Avalon Shadow in third. And we ride on board with TJ, and he gets so close to the back of Yellow Sausages. And this is where you see the difference. It's the 919 through the last couple of sectors of the course will definitely pick up a bit more. What's going on with TJ? Is he having a problem with his car? What's happened to TJ? One of his steering wheel's gone. Something's happened to TJ, and that's him out of the race by the looks of things. Well, I don't know what happened there, but we are only 3 minutes in, and it looks like TJ's had a problem, and that's cost him. And whether that be his steering wheel's gone or his internet, well, he's still in the room, so it can't be his internet. But Yellow Sausages is now 7.4 seconds clear in that classic Mazda. And look at that. Avalon Shadow running in second now. 1.7 back to Stormfly. Stormfly is 1.6 ahead of Colombia. Where is Wiggy? Fubar in 5th place, 7.9 seconds back. Then we've got 1.4 back to Grizz Troopers, who's got a big half-second penalty there. Under pressure from Jersey. Jersey makes that move up into 6th place. Ash is side by side with Grizz Troopers. Is he going to be able to make the move? And can he get to the end of this braking zone and not smash into the back of anyone this time out? He manages that this time. Grizz Troopers a little bit late on the brakes. But we see Jersey going a bit wide. Brian Moncani just tucked in behind him. Smoky Tom running in 10th place. He's got another 3 seconds of penalties. So that's you've got to obey the track limits, man. Got to obey those track limits. And 2 tenths behind is Wiggy, who had a problem somewhere. Is now trying to get himself back up the order. And I don't know what happened to him, but he's now back up and running, but in 10th place. 27 seconds off the lead. But over the course of a 3-hour race, that's an easy thing to make up. So at this stage, even the guys at the back don't necessarily have to worry too much. We obviously haven't got a fastest lap as yet, because we are still only here on lap 2. And we imagine over the 3-hour course of 3 hours, we're looking at somewhere around, 45 laps, do you reckon? Something like that. Smoky Tom, there he is. 3 seconds worth of penalties. Devlin Calypso in 12th. He is 22 seconds ahead of Old Man J. So as Old Man J had some sort of problem, clearly he's had a crash somewhere. That was a very, very long first lap of 4 minutes. And TJ is back up and running. Don't know what happened to him, but he's now up and running again. Bear in mind, he was running in second when he had a problem. He has got an awful lot of work to do, but he is quick, and it is a long, long race to go. There is Yellow Sausages running in first place. He's opened that gap out to 9.6 seconds, looking absolutely dominant out in front at the moment. And can anyone do anything to rein him in? Now, we're looking, I mean, there's no point really looking at sort of fuel or tyres at this stage. Everyone's gone for the racing soft tyres. And you can see which cars have got, the hybrids obviously have the additional thing of boost, and you've got to try and manage the way that you harvest your boost, because you need it at the most opportune moments, which is going to be on the straight and out of some of the slower corners. And that's the 3:22.1 for him. We won't find out where anyone else slots in until Yellow Sausage is crossing the line, which will be about here, and he's done a 3:22.6, so not too much slower. Colombia and Avalon Shadow very close, side by side at the minute. These two have decided to go racing early on. They have got no intention of slowing it up, and Colombia at the minute are just holding up Avalon somewhat. Avalon's finding it hard to find a way around. Get a good exit out of that corner though, but as soon as they get up to speed, what can he do? He just tucks in behind. He'll wait for his opportunity. If he's this close when it comes to slipstream, which he'll get as they come out of this right hand here, and this is where he can get on the power, use that slipstream and try and breeze past Colombia. He's got no boost left. Colombia's got loads of boost. How did Colombia manage to keep so much boost on board? So Avalon not able to close right up on him, but I think Avalon is going for potentially a long strategy. So he seems quite happy to let Colombia pull away and then catch up with him through the slower corners. So he's in no real hurry at the moment, is Avalon. He knows it's a 3-hour race, and he's playing the long game. Fubar running in 5th. Very, very pink is that car. Very, very pink indeed. He is running in 56.6 seconds back from Avalon Shadow, but found himself a little gap in the racetrack, ahead of Wiggy by 6.4 seconds. Penalty for Wiggy, running in that classic LeMans car. 5.8 seconds is the gap to Fubar. 1.6 back to Ash, who has joined us, and showed us how not to break into, or at the end of the first straight into that chicane. Brian Moncani running in 8th place at the moment from Belgium. He's 1.3 seconds clear of Jersey in the Monster 919. Good running from him, half a second penalty to serve. He is 6 seconds ahead of Smoky Tom. Last time we saw Smoky Tom, he had a big penalty. He hasn't got one now, and he's got Devlin for company, though. They're both running in that Peugeot. Not sure how wise a choice that is. I mean, there's not huge amounts of differences between these cars at this level, but it's Peugeot versus Peugeot here, and Smoky Tom will be vying to stay ahead. But it's very difficult when you've got a car in your slipstream to keep them behind you. There is Devlin Calypso trying desperately to find a way through. He's in the slipstream of Smoky Tom ahead of him, but it's not going to be close enough by the time they come up to Indianapolis. And I wouldn't recommend any overtaking there, unless of course the car in front goes wide. But we see them turning to the right here, and then on the brakes into Indianapolis. He's going up the inside. He did have a look, but gets it changed out, gets it turned in. Then there is someone off the racetrack. Why are the yellow flags? Who has crashed? We'll soon see who it is. Has Wiggy had an accident? Yes, Wiggy's had a problem. He's down in 9th place, so he's had another accident. It's not going well for Wiggy at this stage. He was looking pretty racy as well in terms of pace. Maybe just drop off that pace a little bit, because pushing too hard clearly isn't working out for him. But it's good to see some guys using different cars. I mean, they could have all stopped it for the 919. It would have been pretty boring, wouldn't it? Grid Troopers running in 12th place, 10 seconds back from Devlin. He's 7 seconds clear at the moment of Old Man J. Old Man J had a very, very poor first lap. Second lap was a little bit better, but not significantly, so we're about 20 seconds slower than Yellow Sausages out in front. And there's TJ, 8.6 seconds right at the back. Bear in mind, he was running in 2nd place. In fact, he was running in the lead for a while, running in 2nd place, matching Yellow Sausages corner for corner, and then had what seemed to be a technical issue as he started lap 2, just coming up to the Dunlop, or coming round the Dunlop curve, and found himself off the racetrack. And I don't know what happened. We'll have to find out after the race exactly how that transpired. So there's your leader. He has opened up. Oh, it's actually, the gap's closed a little bit. It's closed to 7.7 seconds. Just dropped off the pace a little bit for lap 3. Stormfly closing in. 3:22.5 for him that time. TJ's got the fastest lap at the 3:21.7. So he is the fastest man on the racetrack, but he's got an awful lot of work to do to get himself up the order. Colombia running in 3rd place, 9.9 seconds back he is from Stormfly, but he is ahead of Avalon Shadow, 1.7 seconds, or almost 2 seconds into the braking zone. So Avalon Shadow definitely playing the long game here. You can see who is going racy and who is playing the long game and just kind of hanging it out there, and giving themselves I mean, to be fair, those that are sort of backing off a little bit at this stage are giving themselves an opportunity to run this as a one-stop race. It's not easy to do at pace, but if anybody can do it, you know, Avalon Shadow is very, very good at looking after fuel and tyres, and if need be can eke out a few extra laps and give himself the best opportunity moving forward. Fubar Philantis, he is running in 5th place, 5.3 seconds behind Avalon Shadow, and that's 10.9 seconds or 11 seconds up from Brian Moncani, who's just made a move on Ash. That's up to 6th place, with Ash running in 7th place. both Ash and Jersey have penalties. And these three cars at the minute duking it out between them, 4th, 6th, 7th and 8th place on this racetrack. Wiggy running in 9th. He's had a couple of problems so far in this race, and he's not super slow either. So work for him to do, and again he'll be one that's at this stage now will just play the long game. 6.4 seconds he is up from Smoky Tom. Can't see him quite yet, but he looks in his mirrors and he's starting to pull away. He's winning the battle of the Peugeots with Devlin Calypso. There is Devlin Calypso as they come to the end of where Indianapolis goes into the right-hander. Old Man J up to 12th place. Had a very poor first lap and second lap, but back among the pace again. Has found his pace now. And I think, I don't know what happened in the first lap. It's like a few people kind of got a little bit too excited and pushed a little bit too hard early doors for track position. You know, when you've got a 3-hour race, you take the time and let it run. Grits Troopers is in 13th place. Is in that 919 as well. I'm loving the livery on that. Very, very cool. Yeah, he's running in 13th place, 3.5 seconds behind Old Man J. And TJ has closed that gap now to 3.3 seconds. He is the fastest man out there. He's done a 3:21.7. And we'll have to find out what happened to him in that early stint when we saw him come around here, almost neck and neck with Yellow Sausages. He came out of here and crossed the line. They were racing up towards the hill here, and this is where we saw something go horribly wrong. Now, it could have been I'm assuming it was some sort of technical issue with his wheel, because he kind of just drifted off to the side. And I hope he's got that sorted out permanently, but he's trying to make a move now on Grizz. Has he got a problem again? It looks like he's got another problem. Oh, I wonder if TJ's got an equipment failure. So again, we see TJ with a problem. Now, he's only just bought a new wheel. I'm hoping that's not the cause of this issue. I'm sure he'll be fuming. He spent a lot of money on that as well. So Yellow Sausages 11.9 seconds clear of Stormfly. Did Stormfly have a problem? Tell you what though, he's burning a lot of fuel Stormfly already. We're on 15 minutes in, and he's already almost at a tank of fuel. So as I said, it's going to be about an hour for the first pit stop. They're certainly on track for that in terms of fuel wise. In terms of tyres, when you look at Avalon Shadow, so conservative with those tyres and that fuel, he's going to easily drag this out longer, and I think this puts him in a very unique position, because I think it's going to be I think it's too much to ask for a one-stop race here over 3 hours. I think it's still going to be a 2-stop race for him, but he's in a unique position that the longer he can run in stint number 1 and stint number 2, he gives himself a very, very short blast in the pits for his second stop. He can come out with less fuel, be much lighter, on some very grippy tyres, later than everybody else as well, and really give it a push towards the end. So we'll see how that pans out for him, but at the moment looking very, very good. There is Fubo, he's running in 5th place. He is 3 seconds back from Avalon at the moment. So just starting to reel him in as Colum moves up the road. Brian Moncani 13.4 seconds back. No pressure from Wiggy at the moment, although we know in terms of lap times that's a 3:26 from Brian, 3:23 from Wiggy, so he will close that gap, but Wiggy's got to try and find his rhythm, because he had a bad lap 3, didn't have a great lap 1 either. So a couple of problems for him, has just taken right off that pace. So Stormfly was the pole sitter. He lost a lot of time, a lot of places early on. Yellow Sausages and TJ disappeared off up the road. TJ since then's had a couple of technical issues already, coming up to lap 5. And you know, we've still got another 40 laps to go, there or thereabouts, 30 odd 40 laps to go. Ash is running 7.5 seconds behind Jersey, and that's 3.6 seconds ahead of Smoky Tom, who's winning the battle of the 2 Peugeots. 3.5 seconds faster in the lead Peugeot. Devlin Calypso jumped in lastminute.com to come and join us. Obviously knew what he was in for when he came in. Old Man J So just starting to find his rhythm now. He had a couple of bad laps early on, but has now started to find his rhythm. And now I love it. I can't believe I missed that Roadrunner on his car. It's so cool. I missed that. There we go. So nice and steady now with 326, 325, 326. Setting into a good rhythm. But more importantly, he's really looking after his fuel and tyres there. So he can take it a little bit further into the race as well. Grizz Trooper's pushing hard. The 17 seconds is his gap already to Old Man Jay. Lapping around the mid 34s. But he's had a couple of slow laps and he just needs to up that pace a little bit. TJ had another problem, and I don't know what to say. It's not been going well for him. He's got that number 2 on his car because he was running at one stage in second place. I'm assuming that's what it means. But he's got penalty to serve now. You can see what his pace is like. 321, 323. This is going to be another slow lap here, of course, because he had a problem. That was 414 on this lap already as he's coming up to the end of this lap. So bad lap 2, bad lap this lap where he had technical issues. Touch wood, he's got those issues sorted out. This is why we're doing this though. This is all to raise money for mine. So if you can chuck a few quid away, that'd be fantastic.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
It's a really good cause. We are trying to do what we can to help mental health in this country. Everyone's affected by it. 1 in 4 people will experience some sort of mental health issue in their lifetime, and everyone will be affected by it, whether it be personally or with a member of your family. So do please, if you can spare a few quid, chuck a few quid our way. The link you'll find in the description if you wish to do that. So Yellow Sausage is 13 seconds clear of Stormfly, who is now 15 seconds clear of Columbi. I'm sure it's Columbi. I should have asked him how to pronounce it before I came in the room, really. But I'm sure he'll correct me at some stage. 15 seconds clear. Behind Stormfly. But he is under significant pressure now from Avalon Shadow as he ramped up the pace because he's seen Fubar coming. He was, at one stage, it looked to me that he was holding back, but they go into the forward chicane to complete lap 6, and he is crawling all over the back of Columbi from Canada. Does he make the move here? Much better exit. He makes the move side by side, but just as he starts to make the move, you kind of see that hybrid kick in for Columbi, and he just keeps his car ahead. And there's Fubar getting involved in that battle now. He's closed up that gap to Avalon Shadow, and is now just 6/10 behind. Now, does this mean that he's going to get held up by these two battling ahead? So Avalon will be in Columbi's slipstream. Fubar's in Avalon's slipstream. There's going to be a really good opportunity for Fubar to make the move here. He's already closing up with that slip. They're both in the Porsche. He pulls across to the side. They are side by side in that slipstream. Just so much stronger for Fubar than it is for Avalon. But then Avalon picks up the slipstream from the car next to him, and Fubar no longer has it. And there we go. Then we have the difference in the speed. Under braking, Fubar just has to drop him again. Can't make the move. So the slipstream's so strong here. Really does give you the opportunity to slingshot overtake. But if the car you're trying to overtake has got his own bit of slipstream, there's nothing you can do about it. You have to just drop him and suck it up and go again. So there's Wiggy, had a few bad laps at the start. He's starting to get his rhythm in now. He's running in 6th place, he's 15.5 seconds back. And on track to pit somewhere, I reckon probably. So we look at his fuel now, we look at his tyres. I think we're looking somewhere around the hour and 10 minutes, hour 15 minute mark. He might be able to stretch it out a little bit longer. We'll see what happens. No one looks to be stretching it out to an hour and a half though, which is what you'll need to do if you want to one-stop this race. Brian Moncani is running in 7th place. What happened to Smoky Tom? I thought Smoky Tom was higher up, or maybe not. Brian Moncani running in 7th. He's got Jersey just behind him, hoping to make a move before they get into this right-hander coming up. Not quite close enough to make the move here. He's going to be relying on Brian Montgomery making a mistake. But every lap they come in, it gets easier and easier as the muscle memory as you go round every corner and you start to have that flow, start to get that rhythm. 13 seconds back to Ash, who demonstrated to us at the on lap 1 just how bad things can go if you miss your breakpoint at the end of that very long straight. But now running in 9th place, he's 14 seconds back from Jersey, 4.9 seconds ahead of Smoky Tom. And Smoky Tom is really starting to open up the gap now from Devlin Clispo. They're both running in the same car in that Peugeot, but he's running almost 10 seconds clear of, well, old man Jay's got around. Devlin had made a mistake. Devlin has overshot. He's hit the wall. That has allowed old man Jay through. Old man Jay 9 seconds behind Smoky Tom. Devlin 11 seconds behind him with a penalty. So old man Jay moves up to 11th place. And Devlin Calypso, a lot of work to do now to close up that gap. 15 seconds back to Grizz Troopers, who's just put in his fastest lap of the race, 3:34.4. And there is TJ. Again, very quick laps. He's done a 3:23.7. But you can see there, lap 5 he had 4:34. Lap 2 he had a 4:31. Technical issues is what it looked like that has taken him way out of this race. He's now almost 2 minutes behind the leader. Or just over 2 minutes behind the leader. Stormfly is now the fastest man on the racetrack with a 3:20.7 as he vies to close that 14-second gap to Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages put in the fastest lap on lap 5 with a 3:20.9, and he's currently going purple. Stormfly did it on the same lap, so literally a few seconds later, fastest lap changed hands. And then we'll leave you on board with Yellow Sausages. Back very, very shortly. And we're back. Yellow Sausage is still in the lead, of course. 14.2 seconds is his lead. And at the moment, it doesn't look like Stormfly can close that gap to him. He's got that Mazda purring, absolutely purring. And I mean, if you look at the difference in straight line speed here, when he gets to the end of that straight, 215 miles an hour. And we look at Stormfly, he's in one of the older cars. Well, the older cars seem to have a lot more straight line speed. He gets up to a similar speed, 215, 217, 218, and he's only in 5th gear. So that's some speed there. But if we look at the 919, for instance, in a similar situation, it's only getting up to about 180 in its top gear. Well, it's about, I think 186 is the quickest I've got to go to. But you kind of run it up to about 180 before you flick it up into 7th gear. But you lose a couple of miles an hour if you haven't got slipstream with that 919 when you get to the end. You see the difference in the straight line speed there. And it's no doubt that this 919 makes up a lot of that when we come into the, from sort of Indianapolis round to the Ford chicane is essentially where the 919 is the strongest here. But Fubar is up into 30s, 25 seconds behind Stormfly. Colum running very, very well in that Toyota hybrid, 6.9 seconds behind. A lot more straight line speed as well there, as you can see. As they come into the this big right hand here, but the 919, as strong as it is, doesn't have the straight line speed that the rest do. There's Avalon Shadow just coming in. He's 9 seconds behind now, but settling into this race in his in the manner that he does, and you can see the difference in tyre wear, in fuel wear for Avalon compared to everybody else. Evening Bandit, good of you to join us, buddy. You join us on lap 9, of course. We've got let's bring up all the car details so we can see who's got what. So Yellow Sausages has opted for the Mazda 787B, the 1991 model, in a straight line. This is absolutely devastatingly quick. 215, 216 in a straight line. Loses a little bit after Indianapolis and through the Porsche curves into right up to the sort of Ford chicane. But what it loses there, it gains in its straight line speed, without question. So quick. Then we've got Stormfly, who's gone for the 1992 Nissan 92 CP, which again has that phenomenal straight line speed. He's 13 seconds back. Does have the fastest lap with a 3:20.7, but you can see they've started to settle the pace down to sort of very, very consistent last 3 laps. 3:21.4, 3:21.8 to the 3:21.3 for Stormfly. Then 24 seconds back to Fubar in the 919 hybrid Porsche 2016 model. A great car this, but this is the car that really loses out in a straight line. Needs slipstream to really get it down the long straights here, down from sort of from the S's right through to Mulsanne is where this car tends to be not quite so strong. And Orvar joining us, but obviously he's joined us far too late to get involved in this race. He'll be waiting a long time if he's waiting for any more races, of course. Then 10 seconds, apologies for that, so annoying. Then 10 seconds back, we've got Colum from Canada. He is running in that very, very good Toyota GR010 hybrid 2021 model. It's the newest car out there. Again, a bit more straight line speed on the Porsche, but it's similar to the older cars in that it hasn't got quite the same grip through the through that kind of final few sectors. Avalon in that 919, he has got Brian Moncani also in the 919 tucked up behind him. Can Brian Moncani get in the slipstream and make a move here? They've both got half-second penalties to serve. And will that make a difference? Can Brian Moncani get in behind him and make a move? He's got a little bit of a slipstream he's picking up here, and he is closing as they'll go into this chicane here. And really closed up very, very close there. If he can stay this close to him, and it's really dirty air he's got travelling here, but if he can stay this close to him, he might have a move into Mulsanne. Yeah, I mean, it would be a risky move to make. He would have to rely on Avalon going wide into Mulsanne, but I think Avalon is going for slow and steady wins the race. Don't make any mistakes. He certainly had a look up the inside, did BM Racing, but decided against it, and he's going to sit in there and hope he gets a move now before they get down to Indianapolis and Marge, and that's where the 919 is really, really strong. So no move here. He's too far back to make a move into Indianapolis. Again, with that slipstream, it is closing up. But I think Avalon, if you look at the difference in fuel, Avalon and tyres between the two of them, Avalon did a much better job of holding on to his fuel and tyres. But then Brian seems to be doing a much better job holding on to his energy recovery system. Look at the slight differences there. So penalty served. And there we go, Brian is through. He didn't need to make the overtake. He didn't have a penalty on board, so for him, that was an easy overtake. So Avalon drops down to 6th place, but these two are going to be duking this out. And just there in the distance, there he is. There's Wiggy, with a 3:22.2. He's just putting his fastest lap of the race, and he's running in the better looking of the Porsches, the Porsche 962C. And this is a beautiful, beautiful racing car. Again, has that blistering straight line speed, but does lack somewhat in when it's required to go around corners, essentially. And he's got Jersey in the 919 hybrid, so it's Porsche versus Porsche here, and it's only 1.5 seconds back, so we'll see how much he can close up through this section, because you can see through here. Good exit out of there, but 1.7 is the gap, but he can concentrate on what's ahead of him, because the next player on the racetrack, next driver on the racetrack, I should say player, next driver on the racetrack is ZFS Ash, who's just lost out to Old Man Jay. Old Man Jay's making the move, and they're side by side, and it's Jay that wins out. So he is making a move up to 9th place. So for the initial couple of bad laps early on, now we start to see some pace from him, and he's up to 9th place in that hybrid 919. And there's Ash in the Mazda LM55, and it's a very strange looking racing car, but very, very quick. And we'll have a look actually and see what sort of speeds that LM55 gets on the straights. Because I know a few people have tested, I know Yellow Sausage is the current leader, tested about £9 million worth of, or 9 million credits worth of racing cars for this race. And if he keeps doing that for every race, he's going to run out before we get to race number 3. So just lubricating. So he is up to, so he maxes out. It's a little bit quicker in a straight line than the 919 is, and maxes out just around 200 miles an hour. And when you get to the end of the straight, but with slipstream, obviously that's going to benefit a little bit more. So it will close up on the 919 in the straight. It loses out when it comes to the twistier sections. He's got a half-second penalty, but there he is. Inside of that car does look really cool, doesn't it? It does look really, really cool. Opting not to sit in the slipstream there, and Devlin has given up on this race just 36 minutes in. It could be a disconnection, but what a shame. So we're already down to 13 runners. We've lost one 36 minutes in. He clearly wasn't having a good race, wasn't happy with sticking in, and out he went. So you've got to know what you're signing up for. You're coming in for a 3-hour race. You are literally at it for 3 hours. So he can't make the move, can Ash? As they come in, big turn here. Can he make the move in Mulsanne? He can't. Is he any closer? Not close enough to make a move. Old Man Jay just pulling away in that Porsche. And the Peugeot Smoky Tom, that is starting to close up on the back of Ash. Top end speed, again it's quicker top end than the 919. Goes over 190. You don't see that from the Porsche 919. But let's see how it is once we get into this section past Indianapolis. How much can he close down? He's going to get past this the LM55 of Ash, because Ash from South Africa is going to be serving a half-second penalty as we go through here. So we'll go through that penalty line. We'll see him pull off the racing line there, and Smoky Tom getting a run on him. Does he get a good enough run on him? He should do. We'll he's certainly a lot closer. He's in the slipstream. Can Ash do anything to stop him before they come in to the Porsche curves? And he's going to have to back off there. None of these cars can go flat around the Porsche curves. They have to kind of let off a little bit. And the LM55 touches the wall. That gets Smokey Tom right in the crosshairs now. And he's going to make this move. Now, already another penalty for the LM55. And Smokey Tom must be rubbing his hands together with glee, because all he needs to do is find a way past. Now, Old Man Jay found a way past him in this section last time. Can Smokey Tom do the same here on lap 11 here at Le Mans? Great exit from him. Can he make the move? They are side by side as that LM55 gets up to speed. It does have a little bit more in a straight line, that Mazda. But Smokey Tom, with such a good exit, he might be able to make the move. He does just have to tuck in behind. Again, little touch. He's edging him along. He's saying, come on, I'm quicker than you. You've got to let me through, man. And a spin from Smokey Tom, just sitting in that dirty air. And that's going to set him back a little bit. He has got 38 seconds on TJ. TJ has finally made it past Grizz Troopers. And he's put in the fastest lap of the race with a 3:19.7. But as you can see, two very bad laps when we had equipment issues on lap 2 and lap 5 has sent him to the very, very back of the pack and given him significant work to do to close back up. That spin from Smokey Tom will give him a little bit of hope of catching the next driver up the racetrack. But I feel for him. I don't know what the technical issue was, but he was in second place when the first one reared its ugly head. And he saw his car off the racetrack. He finally got it back on, put in another fastest lap, and then a couple of laps later, the same technical issue befell him again. Hello, David. Good of you to jump in and join us. It's been quite an exciting race so far, and we've still got 2 hours and 20 minutes to go. And we're on lap 12 only. That's how long this lap is. 3 minutes 20 with the fastest man out there, and he's the first man to go sub 3 minutes 20 in the race, and that's TJ. Half tank of fuel, so he can run to about lap 24. Lap 24 should take us actually not far off one stop strategy here. Whether those tyres hold out for that length of time is another matter, but there is potentially a one stop in this for those that are brave enough. 9 seconds back to Grizz Troopers, who is now the last runner, 9.1 seconds back, having lost already Devlin Calypso, who decided to bow out from last place. The lead is still sticking around that 12-second mark. Yellow Sausages in the 787. He's really got that, and I mean, that's a very old race car now, 1991. That's a 30-year-old race car that he is chucking around and like it was built yesterday. And look at that straight line speed and the braking and then the acceleration back out. I mean, it really is a phenomenal car. And at this moment in time, 12 seconds is the gap. He's managing to keep ahead of Stormfly. In terms of fuel and tyre management, though, the rears on that car are very, very worrying. Is he going to have to 3-stop this race? Because the tyres are so ropey, or can he get it to hold on for another 20 minutes? I don't know if there's enough tyre left in that for the next 20 minutes to keep him out there. He's certainly got enough fuel. Fuel's not really a problem, but it looks like those rear tyres might be on that 787. What about Stormfly? Well, he's having the same problem. Not quite as bad, but he's having the same problem in the R92. It's a year newer, should I say, than the Mazda, but the rear tyres struggling just as much, I think. But the 919, no such problem with the rear tyres on that 919. Now he might be 30 odd seconds behind, but pit stop here, you're looking at 30 odd seconds for the pit stop plus whatever additional time you need for fuel and tyres. So the stop is going to cost you somewhere around 40 to 50 seconds. With such a low fueling rate. So that's something they need to consider, because at the moment, as it stands, 45 seconds to the leader, he could potentially take the lead off this race when Yellow Sausages and Stormfly come in. And if he can drag that out just that little bit longer, I think that we could see these 2016 Porsche 919s really coming into play later on. There's the hybrid GR010. Very, very rough on the tyres though. It looks like Kaloum might need to come in sooner than he'd like. Fuel-wise, he's not struggling too much, but those tyres, particularly the front tyres actually, taking a lot of punishment. BM Racing again in the 919, which seems to be the kindest to the tyres and fuel over this long race period. 3:22 is his quickest lap, as you see behind Avalon Shadow in a battle with Jersey, and with Wiggy, and Wiggy goes through. So Wiggy up to 6th place. Avalon Shadow in 7th. He's 1.2 seconds back. He's got a half-second penalty. But I'll tell you now, he's going for a one-stop strategy here. You just see how much, how much he's lifting and coasting and looking after the fuel and looking after the tyres, not putting any stress through them. He's going to watch everyone ahead of him go into the pits for their first stop, and he's going to breeze out up in the top 3, knowing that he only has to stop once in this race. So he's playing a very, very clever game plan here. 5 seconds back to Jersey from the United States, also in that 919. He's taken a lot more out of his tyres, but fuel-wise is lasting the distance. Could probably go to about, probably somewhere around lap 20, lap 21, before we'll see him jumping into the pits. Old Man Jay, he's also, by the looks of things, going for that one-stop strategy. He's done a really good job with just sitting in there. And bear in mind, he had a couple of really bad laps. Lap 1 and 2 were awful for him. He got caught up in some of the carnage into Dunlop on lap 1 and found himself way at the back of the pack. But since then, has sort of found his rhythm, moved into the race a little bit. He is 29 seconds back from Jersey, but the pace is good, and he's in a much better condition for tyres and fuel than pretty much anyone bar Avalon. There is Ash going very wide there in the LM55. We saw him at the start of lap 1 just going far too hot down the straight into the first chicane on that straight, and straight into the back of a couple of cars, but has since settled into the race has been a little bit less aggressive in those braking zones, but he's 17 seconds clear at the moment. What happened there? So that was Yellow Sausages just so Ash has left the room. So Ash has quit this race then after 45 minutes. So that's 2 that have quit. We've lost Devlin, we've lost Ash. Ash I'm not too worried about because he was a complete stranger that jumped in. Devlin does concern me because he knew what he was getting in for when he started this race. So that just promotes everybody. Smokey Tom gets promoted up to 10th place, 27 seconds behind Old Man Jay. TJ has closed that gap to Smokey Tom to just 1.1 second. And TJ is the fastest man on the racetrack. He's the only man that's gone sub 3:19, and he's doing a really, really solid job in that 919. He's been really heavy on the fuel and really heavy on the tyres, and will have to stop it, but he should last until the 1 hour mark before he needs to come in. He's really close up behind that Peugeot and closing with the slipstream. He's not closing with the slipstream, so the Peugeot actually starting to tug away from him, so he can't. The top end speed, this is I've said this before, this is where the 919 struggles with its top end speed. Once it sort of kicks in past sort of 5th and 6th gear, every other car on the racetrack much stronger, and he makes that move on Smokey Tom, just diving past into the chicane. So very, very brave on the brakes and moves him up into 10th place. But he might lose out here to Smokey Tom just because the straight line speed of that Peugeot is superior to that of the Porsche. And we can see the gap is closing. He's not going to be close enough to retake the place of Smokey Tom. But by the time we get up to Indianapolis, that gap could be as low as half a second. Grizz Troopers 28 seconds back, running in 12th place. We have lost 2 from this race already. We've lost Ash in the LM55, and we've lost Devlin in the other Peugeot. They both didn't last the distance here at LeMans, and it does surprise me. You sign up to race in a 3-hour race, and then last less than 40 minutes into that race. I don't think there's any irony that the guys out in front aren't quitting this race. So it's I can't win it, so I'm not going to go to the end. Very, very shitty attitude. But that does promote others up the order a little bit. So there is your race leader in the Mazda 787. He's going to be struggling with those rear tyres in a lap or two. We're here on lap 15 at the 24 Hours of Le Mans. We'll start to see it get dark relatively soon, I think, because we are almost into 1 hour into the race. We started in the afternoon, so it will start to get dark relatively soon, I think. Stormfly is 18 seconds back from this battle. Can't even see the car in front. He's so far behind now. That's 17 seconds to Sausages. He can't even see him. We can see that they look pretty close together on that little mini-map, but can't even see the speck ahead of where he is. And but he is putting in some decent times, although he has dropped off the pace a little bit. And that will be just to ensure that he makes it to that 1 hour mark for his first stop. And now I imagine he will come in and put on the medium compound tyres and run those for his second stint, giving him the softs for a final stint. And I imagine what he'll probably do actually is put on those mediums and try and hang it out for a little bit longer, and to run a really long middle stint on the harder compound tyres, just so he can push on the soft tyres for the final stint of the race in that last hour. And the pace will drop off at night as the darkness sets in. So he's planning for that as well. Fubar running very comfortably actually in third place, and settled really well as Fubar into the group. He joined us relatively recently and has settled in quite well. He's 34 seconds back at the moment, but he's certainly up there with the front runners right now. 17 seconds ahead of BM Racing. And nice of him to drop in on us, lastminute.com, and get involved. He is running in fourth, doing a really good job in that, and he's the lead. He's the second of the two 919 hybrids in the top five. And Wiggy just making a move behind there on Colombo. Let's call him Colombo. So Wiggy finally up into fifth place. Didn't have the greatest of starts to this race and dropped way down the order. Couldn't really get involved in those early battles between Yellow Sausages, TJ, Stormfly, and has had some work to do to move up the order. He is now up to fifth place. He's 2.2 seconds behind BM Racing, and he's going to have to serve this penalty and hope that he stays ahead of the GR010 of Columbia. He does just stay ahead, and you can see the back of the car he's chasing, which is Brian Moncani. Brian Moncani should be a bit quicker through here, because we see that you can't go full pelt around here in any other car other than that 919. So just dropping it down to third gear, staying in fourth gear until he gets down to the Porsche chicanes, the Ford chicanes. So through Chevy to the... Oh, he's going into pits. He's going in very early, actually. And a big hit going into the pit lane for Wiggy. That's going to cost him. It's already a big time loss going into the pits, but that's going to cost him even more. So he comes in, and he's the first stopper, actually, lap 15. Yes. I don't know what it was. I had a massive issue with... Sorry, welcome, sick kid. Sorry, I had a massive issue. My computer just decided a couple of minutes into the stream when I was doing the introduction just to completely shut down. No warning or anything. Just 1 minute it was working, and then everything went black. So I had to basically restart, and haven't had a chance to. I did put it in the same place that it was on YouTube, but obviously it decided to go somewhere else. But glad you could now join us. So rundown for you of where we're at. Yellow Sausages in the Mazda 787 is out in the lead, 20 seconds clear from Stormfly. Now Yellow Sausages was running with side by side with TJ, and then TJ had a technical issue which dropped him down the order. He's showing some very good pace, TJ. He does have the fastest lap, but he's got some significant work to do. Stormfly up into second after being on pole and dropping down, and there's a mistake there from Yellow Sausages as his rear tyres are starting to go off. So Stallfly in second place is in the Nissan R92CP. And he is 20 seconds back. He did drop down to 5th at one stage, but has found worked his way back up the order, and just dropping off the pace now as his tyres and fuel are dropping. Fubar running very comfortably in the 919, 37 seconds back, but firmly in that podium place, 14 seconds clear of BM Racing Brian Moncani. And Brian Moncani is 7.5 seconds ahead of Columbi. Columbi running in the Toyota GR Hybrid, 3.5 seconds ahead of Avalon Shadow. He was just ahead, he was just behind Wiggy. Wiggy is the first to pit. He's pit very, very early. For me, it's a two-stop race here. Although I think there's a couple trying to one-stop it. It is a two-stop race, but I think Wiggy's going for a more aggressive three-stop approach and hoping he can make it up in flat-out, balls-out racing. Avalon Shadow running in 6th. I think he is going for the one stop here. He's really been looking after those tyres and fuel. He's let a few people pass him. He hasn't been too concerned with some of those cars ahead going through, because his game plan is very different than theirs. And he's well on track to one stop this race at the moment. And the longer he can hang this out, the better. Jersey running in 7th place. He is just 7/10 back from Avalon Shadow. Will probably make the move on him. He's actually doing quite well for fuel as well, and but his tyres are looking not quite as fresh as those for Avalon Shadow. But one stop might be on the cards for him as well, if he can just take some pressure off those front tyres. There is Wiggy in the 962C. Now, Wiggy was up there with the front runners and then had an awful first couple of laps, absolutely woeful, and dropped way down the order. Has had to fight his way back through. He's got 37 seconds up to Jersey, and we've lost Smoky Tom. Smoky Tom doesn't quite make the hour mark. It's such a shame. Do you know what? And I say this every time. You know, if you sign up for a race, whether you're first or third or last or whatever, just fucking stick it out, man. Rage quitting is such a shitty thing to do. Because what you're essentially saying is, to the people just in front of you, that I don't feel that I should be back here and I'm having a barrow, so I'm going to quit and give you nobody to race against. It's just such a fucking shitty thing to do. If I can't win, I'm not playing. Well, don't, you know, if the thing you're choosing to do is a racing game, and this is one of the reasons why, you know, we're doing this for mine, because, you know, it is about mental well-being. And, you know, you think about what you're saying to the people around you. You're saying that they're worth less than you because they're beating you, and you don't want to stick around and see if you can give them a bit of a battle. That's what it says. It basically says to the guys that race around at the back of every single race, the people like Old Man Jay, Grizz Troopers, who are constantly in the sort of last few positions. It's saying to them that the fact that you're ahead of me pisses me off in such a way that I don't want to race you anymore, because it's not fair. So, you know, there's 3 that have already rage quit from this race so far. And we're not even at the hour mark. Now, I can guarantee you that nobody else left in this room will rage quit. Because they know, they stick it out. It's just so disappointing. So disappointing. You know, particularly because we're doing this for charity as well. You know, you want to have, you want to start with 15 races and finish with 15 races. Not start with, you know, you start with 14 and 3 decide that they can't be bothered to finish it. You know, you didn't start this race thinking it was a 30-minute race. You knew you were in it for 3 hours. Just suck it up. But there we go. We should be nicer. It is about mental health, of course. But you know, think about all the people that are struggling on a day-to-day basis and have to stick it out and have to get on with it, no matter how much they're struggling with their mental health. What you say about quitting, that's what you say to those people. Anyone that, you know, we're trying to raise money here for people, for Mind, and they hate people who are struggling with their mental health. And what you're saying to people with mental health problems is, you know, I know that you stick it out every day and you're getting on with it and you're doing what you can and to get by, but I don't consider your plight to be that important that I can sit and race for a few hours to raise a few quid for you. That's it, really. What else can you say? But there we go. That's my little rant over. So Old Man Jay running in 9th place. He's 5.8, 5.9 behind Wiggy. He's got TJ coming up behind him. Now TJ, he's the fastest man on the racetrack, 3:19.0. And you can see by his lap times, he's been quick all day. His problem is simply he had what looked like a wheel failure in lap 2, and then another one in lap 5. Pretty much in the same place, around Dunlop, it happened. And the first time it happened, he was side by side with the current race leader, as we see him just making his way around Old Man Jay. And then as he started to close down and started to work for the pack again, it happens again 3 laps later. And that leaves him fighting now. The Jersey is the second to blink. He's in the pits. So we just go down the order, and there's Grid Troopers obviously running. Also that 919 hybrid. He's a minute behind now. Now you notice how he's sticking out, yeah? Notice that? And he was last. But there we go. Right, Yellow Sausage is 21 seconds clear. Those tyres looking very ropey. I have a feeling we might see him ducking off into the pits in that Mazda at the end of this lap, because the state of those tyres now certainly, and you can, I mean, it's not affecting his lap times at the moment. I mean, it's still, and just listen to the sound of that car. Just get in the car and just listen to it. Sounds beautiful, doesn't it? Sounds absolutely beautiful. Love the sound of that car. So yeah, it's 22 seconds ahead, but the tyre's looking ropey. And I mean, look how quickly he goes into these Porsche curves. Does have to brake it. You can't go flat out like you can in the 919, but it's still pretty quick in there. I have a feeling that we're going to see him peel off to the right-hand side before he gets to the Ford chicane. Very, very wide there. Is that penalty, or does he just get away with that? I think he does just get away with that. And he pulls off to the right-hand side. Into the pits he goes. Does he make the same mistake Wiggy does? No, he doesn't. He misses the wall. He gets in safely. Stormfly, what's he going to do? Is he going to pull into the pits? He's 25 seconds back. If he stays out, he will take the lead of this race. But he's going to need to pit very, very soon anyway. And there he is in second place. And I think we're going to see him now pull to this right-hand side. And indeed we do. In comes Stormfly in the R92. Fubar will stay out. At the moment, his tyres and fuel looking pretty good. He's 38 seconds back from Stormfly. Might be just enough to nick second place for the time being. But the 919 certainly running a little bit deeper into this first stint as we hit the first pit window. And as we hit the 1 hour mark, let's just have another reminder of why we're doing what we're doing.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Minds booklets.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
Thank you very much. Obviously, we're doing this for a very good reason. We are up to, at last count, £375 raised. And big thank you to everybody that's put their hand in their pocket. We only asked for a £5 donation to enter this race competition, but some people have been incredibly generous, and we hope that it continues on. I know there's been some other stuff pledged, and there will be some money coming in after the weekend. And I just thank you so much for the support. My initial goal was to raise a couple of £100, and it's already moving way beyond that. So thank you very much. So anyway. There is Fubar. He did end up in second place, 16 seconds behind Yellow Sausages. Yellow Sausages would have come out on those medium tyres. He's not planning on running them for very long. Didn't put huge amounts of fuel in. He wants to get rid of those and go back onto the softs as quickly as he possibly can. So Fubar running in seconds, 10 seconds clear of Brian Moncardi. Brian Moncardi also coming through. Stormfly out. He's opted to go on the softs for a second run. He is still going to need to run those medium tyres on that Nissan. Is he planning on 3-stopping then to just run those mediums for a short period of time, or does he have a genuine plan here? So Brian Moncardi up into third, Fubar into second. They both still need to pit for the first time, but can go a bit further in this race at the moment. Columbi, he's running in 5th place. He's in the Toyota Hybrid. I think we'll see him coming at the end of this lap for his first pit stop and ditch those very, very dodgy looking racing soft tyres. Been very, very, very hard on the fuel, this Toyota. Avalon Shadow in the Porsche 919. Loves his Porsches, does Avalon. And he is... I still think he's one stop in this race. I think he's going to try and drag this out to the 90-minute mark, the halfway point of this race. And what are we? We almost made it to 20 laps in the hour, so 19 laps. So that's going to be what, if we do the math, it's going to be somewhere around 50 odd laps based on this kind of pace. So actually the pace a lot quicker than we expected. So I think we're looking at somewhere around 55 laps in this race. I said 45, didn't I? I was well off the pace. Well off. So he is 4.2 seconds back from Columbia. And Avalon Shadow is 19 seconds clear of Wiggy. He is still yet to pit. Wiggy has already pit. And he pit very, very early, actually. He pitted with about 50 minutes into this race. So is he going for a different strategy of a 3-stopper here? Or is it just that the Porsche is not as kind to the fuel and tyres as he would like? But it's good to see him running some of these classic cars. Beautiful to see. There's TJ. He's been the fastest man on the racetrack all day, but 2 technical issues and it just goes to show that it doesn't matter how quick you are, reliability and consistency is always going to beat 1 lap pace. The irony is he's got the 1 lap pace as well, and it was reliability of equipment that's let him down, and he's currently running in 8th place, and that's some 4 seconds back from Wingy. He's 12 seconds clear of Old Man J. Both still need to pit. He can probably hang out for another 2 or 3 laps, so maybe around lap 21 we'll see TJ coming into the pits. And he's look at the consistency in his lap times. Over the last 9 laps, he has only twice dropped out of the 319s, and actually he's coming in now at the end of lap 19, and he came in too hot. He's hit the wall, and that's another devastating blow for him. So for everything he's doing right, he's got things going wrong for him, and at the moment, with that kind of luck, he would fall into a bucket full of boobs and come out sucking his thumb. There's Old Man J. He stays out. He will retake 8th place ahead of TJ, and there he goes, 14 seconds back from Wiggy. He's definitely one stop in this race. He has done such a good job of looking after the fuel and tyres. And I'm looking at his lap times. I know that his pace is quicker than that. And so for me, he's definitely been... I dread to use the word sandbagging, because he's not sandbagging to fool anybody. He's playing the long game. And so he's playing the long game here. He will be pitting in about 25 minutes time. And that should be about right to run the rest of this race on the medium compound tyres to the end. How does that play out? Does that really push him up the order? Because knowing that everyone around him is going to be pitting twice. Well, most people, Avalon won't be. There's Jersey. He's running. He's been in the pits. He's back in 9th place now. So he will be running. He's gone for the softs again. He's still got to run those medium tyres. He'll be running those in the final stint of the race. And actually, I think that's where you should be running the softs rather than the mediums. But each to their own. There is TJ out of the pits in 10th place. Cost himself a bit of time hitting that wall going in. But he's now hammered down. He's back on the soft. So again, he's another that's going to have to run those mediums for the final stint of this race. Chris Trooper's running in 11th place. But not last. There's 2, in fact 3 drivers classified after him in the lineup based on Rage Quit, and Rage Quit. And then, of course, it's got me listed, but I'm just talking to you guys. So we've got 11 of the 14 runners that started. We've lost 3 to baby tantrums, and the rest are out there and still going. Yellow Sausage is in the lead. He's 20 seconds clear. He's been in the pits. He's now on those medium tyres. Fubar is in second. He can't even see the man in front. That's how far ahead of him Yellow Sausage is. And Chris has been absolutely devastating from corner 1 today. Absolutely on fire in the Mazda. But here comes Fubar. He's 19 seconds back. He still has to pit, but it's going to be a few laps before he has to do that. It's going to be as I was predicting, which is going to be a long stint, followed by a very short stint. And we're waiting for it to get darker. It's still not getting dark yet. And I'm assuming they did start in the afternoon like they're supposed to, or did they forget and start it in the morning, and then we have to go through the whole day, which would be a little bit weird. But the light does seem to be changing. It'll be interesting when this does get to night time, to be fair. Brian Moncardi running in third. He's also in that 919 hybrid. 3 minutes 22.7 was his fastest lap. He did that on lap 15. He's relatively steady, anywhere between the sort of high 22s to mid to low 24s, there or thereabouts seems to be his pace. He is 5 seconds back from Fubar, 14 seconds ahead of Stormfly, who has been in the pits. So Fubar still to pit, Brian still, in fact everyone in the 919 still needs to go into pit, other than TJ, who has just pit. Stormfly in that R92 Nissan. He came into the pits on lap 18, and is up to speed again. 3:31 was his last lap, so he lost a little bit of time there, and 37 seconds, which is almost a whole pit stop behind Yellow Sausages now, who's just absolutely dominating this race, and I can see him being very, very strong in this racing series. Very strong. Avalon Shadow, he's one stop in this race in that 919. There's no doubt in my mind about that. He will be there or thereabouts come the end of this race. He's 20 seconds back from Stormfly now, but bear in mind that Stormfly has to pit again, as does Avalon. So things will be very different, I think, when we come on later in the race. I think the people that need to be worried are sort of Fubar and Brian, particularly their two stopping this race. I think their positions are going to be quite precarious, with Avalon and Old Man Jay clearly on a single stop. Columbi, he's definitely coming in at the end of this lap, and from the looks of his fuel and his tyres, it might be a struggle to make it. He's got quite some way to go. He's only just about the halfway point, to be fair. So yeah, literally just come round Mulsanne, coming up to Indianapolis, and he's going to have to do it with what is not a great deal of fuel. And I would love to see what he's got in the tank when he does finally get into the pits, because that looks like squeaky bum time in terms of fuel there. But the other problem, of course, is going to be the state of those tyres, which has run them to the very, very end of their life, and he serves his penalty here. Will get back up to speed. The gap to Avalon Shadow will open right out as he puts the foot down in that 919 Avalon, that is, not Columbi. 8.7 seconds. He is ahead of Wiggy. He has already stopped, so Wiggy will clearly come through when Columbi jumps into the pits, which will be shortly, very shortly. And I don't think, looking at those tyres, all the fuel, it can come soon enough, as the light just starts to fade here at Le Mans, and we move into the darkness proceedings. And that's when you that's what sorts the men from the boys. You start this in the afternoon, you get your rhythm, then it gets dark, and you've got to kind of spot your break points, but do it from muscle memory. So there we go. So Columbia in, and look at that. I mean, hardly any fuel left. But here comes Wiggy. Wiggy will come round through those Porsche curves. The Porsche curves. The Ford chicane. You think I'd know by now. So comes through the forward chicane. He's round past the end of the pit lane. He's up into 6th place. And is he closing on Avalon? So we look at Avalon's last lap. It was a 27.1. Wiggy with a 21.5, 23.5. So he is closing on Avalon. But remember, he's got to pit again. He may even have to pit twice more. Unless he's planning on running really, really long on the medium tyres. But Avalon is one stop in this race. So at the moment, Wiggy's priority has to be to close down that gap. Old Man Jay also on a one-stop strategy here. Very, very brave strategy. 22 seconds behind Wiggy. We'll find out how far ahead he is of Columbine when he's already at the beginning of the long straight here. So will be significantly further ahead once Columbine gets up to speed. I don't know what Columbine. So 30 seconds is the gap at the minute. Will open up to probably about 32, 33 seconds as Columbia gets up to speed. Jersey running in 9th place. He's been in the pits as well. He's on the soft tyres. Columbia running the medium tyres. So if he wanted to, if he had enough fuel, he could run to the end if he so wished. But he has one compound sulphur. Sorry, 2 compound sulphur. Jersey just the 1 compound. And this is a bit of a battle at the minute. It is TJ at the back of this battle between Jersey and Columbia. Can Jersey make the move? TJ's got the slipstream. He makes the move one side, gets on the grass, gets him a little bit squirrely, side by side. As soon as you drop out of the slipstream, you just don't have that extra speed. You lose that extra pace, but it is a drag race between these two. He does finally get ahead of the 919 of Jersey, up into 9th place. He's still the fastest man on the racetrack with a 1:13.0 and a great exit there to get past Columbia into or out of that chicane. And as we look back, we see Jersey making a move as well. They're side by side. It is Toyota against Porsche and Columbia. It just seems that when that's at that GR010, it's low range, mid range is good, but it's high range. The acceleration through the high range and with slipstream, just insane. So we just see here again, they make the moves here under the with the sort of low range gearing, and then as it gets through the gears and they get into the higher range, just watch the difference with the GRO. Just absolutely closes right up again on them, using that slipstream, using that additional high end power. The 919 drops off at around the 180 to 183 miles an hour, whereas the this Toyota goes way beyond that, up towards 200. And we'll see here, this is where the Porsche is going to be stronger. It's where you, as we come into Indianapolis, we'll start to see those Porsches pull away. And at the moment, TJ in a very, very unique position, because they have all stopped, but he is already ahead, and the 2 cars behind him, both with penalties. So he's going to find himself being able to pull away from the battle between the American and the Canadian for 9th and 10th place as they serve that penalty. So one serves, the other one serves. Jersey goes through. He had slightly less to serve, and it is TJ from Jersey from Columbia in that battle between 8th, 9th and 10th. And Grizz Troopers bringing up the rear in 11th place. Old Man Jay running very, very well in 7th, and one stopping this race, of course. So everyone behind him has stopped. He's 30 seconds clear of TJ, which won't be enough to keep him ahead. But what it does do is it puts him, he's in that position where he knows that those guys behind him have stopped, which means he also knows they've got to stop again. He only has to stop one more. He's got to stop one more time. So if they're both stopping once and they're in this position, he's in a very, very good position and could potentially leapfrog Wiggy as well. So we're at 1 hour 17 minutes, lap 23 here at Le Mans. And your race leader, there he is, Yellow Sausages, in the Mazda 787. He is 26 seconds clear of Fubar Philantis. He has already been in the pits. Absolutely unstoppable today. He might not be the quickest man on track, But look at his lap times. There's not much difference between his pace on the softs and on the medium compound tyres. In fact, it's only about half a second difference in terms of pace. It's been absolutely phenomenal in that Mazda. And long may it continue, my friend. It's very, very good racing for you. As we just, I mean, that's a beautiful sight. Just the sun starts to fade. The lights are coming on the front of this car. And I mean, they are ropey lights in the front of this car. It's literally like a couple of candles in a couple of candlesticks on the front of this Mazda. But that's what is happening. He's got a light on the side there as well, of course. So he leads his race by 26 seconds from this man here, Fubar, in the lead 919 Porsche. He will be pitting. Well, it looks to me like that these guys are going to try and one-stop it as well. They've only got to hold out for another 12 minutes, and they're halfway through this race. So the 919 is a one-stop strategy car, and I think those guys that pick the classic cars, look, I don't think he's going to catch any sausages. He has just been too quick for anyone today. Stormfly will have to pit again, but these guys running these classic cars are falling foul of tyre and fuel wear. Sorry, apologies for the yawning there. Falling foul of the tyre and the fuel wear. Really costing them time. So we've got Yellow Sausages running from Fubar, from Brian Moncani, are your top three. Stormfly is 12.5 seconds back in fourth in the Nissan R92. 22 seconds back from that is the king of the one-stoppers, Avalon Shadow. He is... the question is, can he run longer and try an overcut? Will an overcut work on the one stop here? Because at the moment he's I don't think he realises that Fubar and Brian are both one stopping, or certainly he was hoping they weren't, because that is the problem now, is that he's committed to the one stop. They look like they've committed to the one stop, although it might be a bit squeaky bum time towards the end for Fubar. Loving it as the light starts to fade here. Then we've got Wiggy back 7.7 seconds, closing fast on Avalon Shadow in the 962, and very, very good pace from him. But losing out early on, and we said this, if you go into turn 1, turn 2, you have a few problems, lose out, it drops you way back down the order, and that's what's happened. It's very difficult to fight your way back with the speeds that they're travelling at. Old Man Jay running very solidly, just 31 seconds behind. He is also running very, very deep into this race as the light starts to fade here in the north of France. TJ, absolute devastation for him. Fastest man on the racetrack, has been for most laps there. But he looks like he had another issue there on lap 20. Look, another 4-minute lap. So his equipment has been crapping out a little bit on him. Or was that that might be his outlap actually. No, I think that was his outlap. Normally, because he would in lap 19. So his equipment hasn't. It failed from on lap 2. It failed from again on lap 5. He's been putting in solid sub 320 laps, and running now in 8th place. There is Jersey running in 9th as the light fades completely here, and we move on into the night at this 3-hour endurance race, which emulates the great 24 hours at Le Mans. Columbi, there he is in the GR 010 Toyota Hybrid, 13 seconds back now, running through the night, and then Chris Troopers bringing up the rear when he finally does get that car back underway again, 99 times. So this is going to need to be our view for the foreseeable if we want to even see the cars. There's Yellow Sausages running in the lead. It is 26 seconds from Fubar Philantis. Then back 4 seconds to Brian Moncani. Can he see Fubar ahead of him? Can he catch Fubar ahead of him? He has got a little bit more fuel and a little bit more tyres. So this will be interesting to see if over or undercut works. They're very, very similar. Well, I was going to say similar pace, but no, they are. They're very similar pace. Both running on the soft tyres, both running the same car. So what will be interesting to see, one, if they're going at the same time, obviously, we won't be able to do But let's assume that Brian stays out a lap longer than Fubar. We'll be able to see just how well over or undercut works there. Particularly because they're going to fuel and tyre to the end. So same tyres, and I would imagine a full tank of fuel. I can't imagine they would under-fuel it to the end. Brian will kind of just picking up a penalty there, which is going to slow him up just a touch. But it's 11 seconds back to this man here. This is Stallfly. He is in the it's a beautiful looking car, the Nissan R92, aptly named because it was made in 1992. And here, that's a beautiful shot there coming into this first chicane. And this is the view that they've got now. As it gets dark, you have to pick your brake points so carefully, because what you use for references when it was light is not going to be there anymore. Your references will have changed as it got dark. So hopefully you would have picked up one or two additional breakpoint references as you for night time. The question as well is, how much do you drop off the pace compared to how you were driving during the day? Because that's going to be clear. If you can maintain the same pace through the night you can during the day, then that's going to set you in a really, really good position. Wiggy in fifth. He has got past Avalon now, although Avalon will be stopping shortly. 24 seconds is his gap back to Stallfly. But there's the view from Avalon Shadow. You've got the Porsche of old against the Porsche of new, or new-ish. And at the moment, that 962 is 962 miles an hour faster than this thing. Or so it looked like it at that stage. So it is 1.1 seconds the gap between Avalon and Wiggy, and I suspect it's going to open up a little bit more as we come towards the one-stop runner hit window. Old Man J is running, 42 seconds back. We know that he is going to be pitting in the next, what do we think, so 50, we're looking at probably a 52 lap race here. I think he'll pit on lap 28, maybe lap 29 if he's brave. TJ Graves already pitted. He does have to go again. He's still got to run that medium compound tyre. He's got so much work to do. He's 2 minutes off the leader, and that is just down to, and who's made a mistake? Who was that just made a mistake? That was Jersey, I think, that made a mistake, or was it Colombo? Well, someone made a mistake, but they're back up to speed now. Not what you want to happen, but this is what happens at night time. You lose your brake points, and that's when you put your car in the gravel. Can't see much of the cars here. I mean, it's a great view. We need to find a couple of cars close together to get a good shot, but we haven't really got any. Fubar and Brian-ish on the same-ish part of racetrack, but at the minute the car's quite spread out. Apart from back here, well, we're back here. Yeah, I mean, they're all quite spread out at the moment, but they're all on very different strategies. You've got pretty much all of the 919 runners, other than TJ, that are still to pit. Whereas all of the classic car runners, they have all been in once and will need to go in again. And there's a shot of the R92 of VR46. And I'll be back with you very, very shortly.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
And we are back. Let's have a look where we are in terms of football. We can see is in the pits. Avalon has stayed out and will stay out for a little while longer, I think. He's definitely going to run as long as he can on the soft compound tyres. And it's getting very dark now, isn't it? Brian Moncani has stayed out. He'll come in at the end of this lap. So Yellow Sausage is now 40 seconds clear at the front. TJ's still the fastest man on the racetrack. But we will, I think, well, we haven't so far. That Mazda, it's almost like Yellow Sausage is driving that car on rails. And we're going to do a lap on board, a full lap on board with him when he comes through the Porsche chicane next. And we'll run a full lap with him and just see just how, I mean, look at the consistency in those lap times. Absolutely phenomenal racing from him. It's hard to think. I mean, this guy broke his leg in the summer in Spain. So badly, he had a number of operations and didn't race for months and months and months. Came back and could only use one foot to brake and accelerate. So it's good to see him back in amongst the leaders, and not only leading but dominating this race, which is good to see. And it just goes to show when Kevin is racing, other people can win. But 43 seconds, it's just getting more and more and more. And is Brian Moncani losing a lot of time here? Just stretching this extra one out, because Stormfly now only 3 seconds behind him. We can see him there, and Stormfly we know has already been in the pits. He's going to be running a long way yet, probably another 13 or 14 laps before he's going to start thinking about coming in. So here comes Yellow Sausages to start a new lap here. We'll stay on board with him for this lap. And just look how he keeps his car on rails. It's literally every brake point, every apex, clips it there, gets it turned in, gets on that power. And he's hardly ever off the accelerator. Yes, it's going well, Aaron. I'll do a full rundown for you in a minute. We're doing an onboard with the current leader, who's absolutely on rails at the minute. It's just a phenomenal thing to watch. And if you look on the right hand side, you can just see the consistency in his lap times. Even when it went from day to night, he's still hitting his brake points. He's still hitting every single apex, and just absolutely dominating. And in such an old car, and what it is, He's opted for the car. I mean, look, it's not as quick through, so sort of from Indianapolis round through the Porsche curves and through the Chevy curve, and then you go into the Ford chicane. It's not as quick as the Porsche, or most of the cars, to be fair, but its straight line speed is just phenomenal. 220, 223, 224 you can get this up to. Whereas the Porsche 919, which can go flat out through that kind of final section, from once you go through Indianapolis and then gets to the Porsche, it can literally go flat out through most of that section without a lift. It just can't make up the difference on the straights. No more than sort of 185, 180, 190 for the Porsche, and it's showing. It really is showing here that these older cars, although it's a lot more tyre and fuel intensive, the Porsches have all managed to one-stop this race by the looks of it, other than TJ, who had an absolute nightmare. We'll talk about that in a minute. Evening, Darryl, how you doing? But the way he's driving this Mazda and keeping it at such close lap times is absolutely phenomenal. It's just on rails for him. And I was saying obviously how it's he broke his leg in the summer, and a massive operations on that. Didn't race for a long time. So to see him back to form is a great thing to see. And here he comes into round into Indianapolis and the following turn, whose name I forgot. I don't know how I can forget these track names because I was literally just doing a guide earlier. Homage, of course, Homage. And you watch through the Porsche goes, he will have to lift a little bit through some of them, but the speed he gets out of the corners is phenomenal. When he's flat through here, little lift here, lift and a change down here, little lift and a change down there, then up towards the Ford chicane, and then back into the Dunlop curve, and off he goes again for another lap. And it's 47 seconds now. Brian Moncarney has not yet pitted. He will pit soon if he makes it that far. Stormfly has got ahead of him. I know they're battling. We'll have to look at this. So here we've got the battle between Stormfly and Brian Moncarney. Stormfly is through. He's a bit quicker in a straight line as well in that car. Let's get back out to that view. That's the view we want to see. So the Nissan does get ahead of the 919, but look at the fuel on Brian Moncarney. He is struggling. I mean, he's still got a little bit of a ways to go to get into the pits. We know that. Let's have a rundown from what happened. We're at the halfway point. So Yellow Sausages is in the lead. Stormfly did qualify on pole position. Straight from the outset though, drops down to 5th from the start. Yellow Sausages and TJ disappear off up into the lead as we see Brian moving into the pits there. Wiggy dropping down the order as well. TJ have side by side with Yellow Sausages all the way through lap 1. Into lap 2, he has an equipment failure, which sees him do a 4-minute lap. He gets the equipment back up and running again. Chucks in the fastest lap of the race. And a 3:17.9 from TJ is phenomenally quick. His last fastest lap was a 3:19 something. Then again on lap 5, he has another equipment failure, which costs him another minute or so. Drops him plumb last again. And he's fought his way back to 6th place. He has been in the pits. He's been pushing really hard. But a 3:17.9 for him. In the dark, it's almost as though his break points are easier to see when there's darkness all around. I fully expected when the night time came in that the pace would drop off a little bit and it would all slow up, but it just hasn't. He does still need to run the medium. Well, he doesn't have to run them. He can run the hards if he really wants to, but he'd be an idiot if he did. Because he's too compound now, so he can run the mediums next, which I'm sure he will do. There's Brian coming out. Where's TJ? TJ's going to be up to racing speed. I think Brian's going to get snatched up very quickly. And Brian, he's still got to get some heat into those tyres. He's going to be on brand new mediums, but they're going to be cold. So here comes TJ closing up on the back of Brian Moncarney, BM Racing. They're both in the same car, but TJ is absolutely on fire today. Nothing more to be said than that. Absolutely on it. And he makes that move. For me, actually, I think that's probably the worst place to make it, because he's going to be giving us some slipstream here. He would have been better following Brian around that corner tucking in behind and then making the move under slipstream. Although he does seem to be just keeping ahead. But here we go, up towards the first chicane, up to the braking zone. Who's brave? Is Brian Braver up the inside? He pushes TJ a little bit further inside, but TJ does hold him off, and TJ stays ahead. One more chance for Brian Moncani. He's got he's picking up that slipstream again, but this time TJ gets a much better exit and just drops him out to 6/10. And Brian Moncani has to give up the ghost now on those medium tyres. So TJ does move up a place. And I'll tell you what, he's still a shoo-in for a top 3, despite his equipment issues early on. So Avalon Shadow still not pit yet. He's got probably one more lap before he does. We're going to find out just how well this overcut works. So Brian Moncani gets ahead of Fubar by going a lap later. So overcut work there for him. Old man Jay, he has now pit. Now it is 2 compounds got to be used. He's used the racing softs already. He's also, so he still needs to pit for the medium compound tyre. A little bit confused really, because he's gone far enough into this race to have been able to one-stop it. So I'm a little bit confused as to why he hasn't just gone to the end, unless his plan is to just go balls out now until his next pit stop, whack on some mediums for a couple of laps, and then go in. But we've seen that from some of the medium tyre runners, actually it's not that big a problem. Colombi is on those mediums. He can, if he so wishes, run to the end, but I don't think he's got the fuel to do it. So he's going to need to have another stop again. Grizz Troopers running at the rear. We've lost 3 from this race. We've lost Smokey Tom. We've lost, I think Grizz Troopers is going to pull over for a piss, isn't he? No, he's letting the leader, Yellow Sausages, through. So we've lost 3 from this race who decided to that they couldn't last out the distance and rage quit. We lost Devlin Calypso, we lost Smokey Tom, and we lost the random stranger that came into the room and was told it was 3 hours. Was like, yeah, and then lasted like 50 minutes. But not before at the end of the straight on lap 1, he forgot to brake and just absolutely tried to wipe out half the field in the Mazda LM55. But it's all done and dusted now. Anyway, we're down to the 11 that want to stick it out. Yellow Sausages in the lead. The gap's now 46 seconds. Now, it's not often when Kevin's not racing, because I mean, those of you who are watching a regular basis will know that when Kevin races, Kevin wins. It's just the way of the world. It's what happens when you put him in a car. So it's not often when Kevin isn't racing that we don't see Stormfly picking up that mantle and leading the race. But at the moment, his lap times are good, but I just think Yellow Sausages has got that Mazda absolutely singing. That 787 has been phenomenal in his hands, and he's been very, very consistent with it. His lap times haven't dropped off one bit for even going into the difficult nighttime conditions. I think the only thing that would stop this guy is if I made it rain. I'm actually regretting a little bit not just putting random weather settings on and seeing what happens. Who's to say that that's not going to come in one of the other 4 races we've got? Because we have 4 more iconic races in a 24-hour format. We've got Spa to come in the Group 2 cars. That's in a couple of weeks. We have to skip a week next week because it is the final of the GT Fusion World Championships next week, and obviously we've got a number of drivers competing in that World Championship. A few of them out this day. Wiggy will be in it. I don't know if Yellow Sausages is going to jump in for the last race, but Wiggy will be in it. Stormfly is competing there. Avalon Shadow and Old Man Jay, who has now pitted for the soft tyres, will all be competing in those World Championships, which will be, I think it's in the BRZ, I can't remember what race it's that. But looking forward to that. That will be streamed live here on Black Flag Racing TV next week. And we do, as always, we will be streaming the lead Saturday amateur group, the pro groups, as you know, on Sunday. The 3 pro groups will be leading the Group D, the lead amateur group. Of the, I think it's 15 or 16 groups for the final race. So that'll be next week, and then obviously we're back to the endurance racing the following week. For mine, so far we have raised £375. What we need is some more money. So, in the immortal words of Bob Geldof, get your fucking money. You know, whether it's £1, £2, £100. Look, we know everyone's struggling at the moment, but it would be good if you could just bung us a few quid. You know, 1 in 15 people would attempt suicide in their lifetime, and without our money, we can't stop that. So let's see if we can just do something. But if we can raise that same, even if we're stuck at 375, we don't go up a penny between now and the next race. If we can raise that for every single race right to the end, I think we've done a bloody good job. You know, I went into this thinking, you know, we can do 50 quid a race, 250 quid. That's a nice little bunch for them. So to get to 375 already is phenomenal. And I want to thank everyone that's stuck however much it is, whether it was £1 or 50 or £60 or whatever. Thank you for your thank you for service then, but it's not we're not Americans, we're not thanking our soldiers. So there we go, Yellow Sausages in the lead of this race. It is the night time, it is Le Mans. And if you think of 24-hour racetracks and you don't immediately think of the 24 hours at Le Mans, then you do not understand your 24-hour racing. We have made it to the halfway point before anyone's got lapped, but here we go. Yellow Sausages is starting to work his way back through the field. Not sufficient with working his way through them for once. He wants to do it again. He's already gone past Grizz Troopers from the United States. There he is, running in that 919 hybrid. He's now coming up behind Columbia from Canada. So he's taking out our colonial friends first. 47 seconds ahead of Stormfly, the Dutch Master VR46. A homage, of course, to the great motorcycle racing driver Valentino Rossi. He is 9.9 seconds ahead of Wiggy, who has battled his way back into that top 3 after an absolutely terrible start, but he will be pitting again here, and unfortunately I think he's going to be 3-stop in this race. And for me, I think he pitted a little bit too early in the first stint. He could have run a little bit longer. Now finds himself, he's in third, but he's going to pit. He's 33 seconds ahead of Avalon Shadow, who is still to pit as well. So it's not all doom and gloom, because Avalon's going to pit this lap. But Avalon has taken everybody else has been in the pits at least once. He's on the set of tyres he started this race on, and the fuel he started this race on. If anyone doubts this boy's credentials with fuel and tyre saving, then you need to shut up, because he's absolutely demonstrated that you can run a long way into a race without burning through your fuel. And just to put it into perspective, just how well he's looked after those tyres. Everybody in the 919 that's been in the pit so far had tyres much worse than that when they went in. So, you know, so he's been quite happy to plod along. He's not been pushing out front like everybody else. He's been happy to let people whip past him and put the pressure on, because he knows that he's going to be running a shorter stint than them. We've seen that the overcut works. Brian McCartney did it on Fubar and got himself ahead of Jersey just by staying out 1 lap longer. So Wiggy in the pits, he'll be followed in by Avalon, and that I think is going to be Wiggy's saving grace. TJ will need to pit again at some stage, but probably not for another 10 laps or so. We're on lap 31 here. It is a 3-hour endurance race as we come into the night here at Le Mans. We've just passed the midway point, and it is looking like this. Yellow Sausages is in the lead by 51 seconds. You heard it here first, folks. He is not letting up, not one bit. You would have thought that an hour and a half into the race, you're starting to get tired, that you'd kind of relax a little bit. Not this boy. He is continuing to put in the effort, and no relaxing for him. Stormfly from the Netherlands is in the classic 1992 R92 Nissan, but he's 50 seconds back from Yellow Sausages. However, 44 seconds ahead of TJ. TJ did get through. He will need to pit again. I think the question of whether Wiggy does, I think, has been answered, because he still needs to run the medium compound tyre. Unless he just did. I can't actually remember. Good thing is I can check it back. Everyone knows they've got to run 2 tyres. But Brian Moncardi goes through on Avalon Shadow. and he did one stop it as well. So it didn't work out quite so well for Avalon Shadow with the overcut, because both Fubar and Brian Moncani, who are also one stopping this race, have come out ahead of him. Not quite as far ahead as they were when they came in, so it has given him a little bit. Now, does staying out that bit longer, and bear in mind he's going to be much lighter, because they Jersey opted to pit again, so he will definitely need to pit again. He's got to put on the mediums actually. So Fubar's running to the end. Look how much fuel he put on board, but look how much Avalon put on board. Now I guarantee you, and I know he's got the Spanish flag up there, but he is German, so very analytical. And I guarantee you that for the 32 laps he was saving fuel around this track, he was working out the exact amount of litres of fuel he needed to the end. And I guarantee you this, it will look like he's going to run out at some stage before the end of this race. And then it will be very clear when he crosses the line with 1 litre. And who's that? That's Jersey hitting the wall. And I said, you know, you get to this stage of the race and you start to lose concentration, and there we go. That just goes to show what can happen. So all changed then. Yellow Sausage is in the lead from Stormfly, then Wiggy, then TJ, then Wiggy, then Brian Moncani, Avalon Shadow, Fubar. He's got a 1 second penalty. Jersey takes a big hit. That's going to affect him pace-wise. Old Man Jay is 52 seconds back, but Jersey needs to pit again. That could certainly bring Old Man Jay back into the fold. But Old Man Jay will also need to pit again because he hasn't run the medium compound tyres yet. Don't know quite what his ploy is. It looks to me like he might have decided to go a little bit racy in this portion of the race. Columbi, he's running the medium tyres. He's going to try and run them to the end, but I think fuel is going to become a factor, and he might have to jump in again. Goose Troopers at the rear of the pack, as we know. He's 7 minutes now. He's on lap 31. Yellow Sausage is on lap 33. But credit to him because he wasn't one of the 3 that down tools in less than an hour in 2 or 3 hour race. He stuck it out. He's going the full distance and will not be classified last, obviously, because those 3 will. So where are we at out front? There's no change, really. Yellow Sausage is still absolutely dominating. 50 seconds clear. And he's still churning out. I mean, there hasn't been a whole second in between his lap times, really, for God knows how long. Stormfly has just put in his first sub 320 lap. And that's the thing, Yellow Sausage hasn't gone under 3 minutes 20 all race so far. Stormfly only just has. TJ has done it loads. 319, and he's consistently now in the 317s. That's phenomenally fast. And the reason he's doing this is he had a very, very bad start with the equipment issues that cost him so much time. So he's had to reassess his strategy, and here he is now with strategy B, which is just fucking balls out, just absolutely melt the car until the engine explodes. So, what is the predictions really? Well, I think you can't look beyond Yellow Sausage to win this race, and I think it would be foolish to count out TJ for a top 3, but I also think it would be foolish to count out Stormfly for second place. I think it's definitely going to be between Stormfly and TJ for second with the way it's currently going. Wiggy still needs to pit again, so he's got to pit again. Brian Moncani is running to the end of this race, so don't count him out just yet, because everyone in front of him has got to pit again. Yes, he's 2 minutes behind the leader. He's not really going to trouble Yellow Sausages. Probably won't trouble Stormfly either, but both TJ and Wiggy have got to pit again. He hasn't. He can run to the end of this race. He's 22 seconds ahead of Avalon Shadow. He's also running to the end of this race, but he's been very exacting with his fuel load. And I think that will play into his hand. If he can, if you look at Brian Moncani lap times, 325 since he's come out of the pits, essentially. 329, 325, 325. We're yet to see what Avalon, or he's just coming round now actually. So we'll soon see what his lap times are by the end of this lap to see what sort of pace he's got, whether he can close that 22 seconds. Jersey is 4 seconds behind Avalon. He will need to pit again as well. So ideally what he'll need to do is get as close as he possibly can in these next few corners to try and negate how much time he loses. Fubar, way down the order actually, in 8th place. He was running at one stage in the top 3 along with BM Racing, Brian Moncani. He went in a lap earlier than Brian did. Brian ended up, where is he, 5th. So he's 3 places further up the racetrack. But don't count him out yet, because, of course, there are people in front that have got to go and pit. Old Man Jay, and I've got to ask him why after this race. I don't understand why he did it. He managed to get to the halfway point quite easily on those soft compound tyres, and then opted inexplicably to go back on the softs, knowing he's still got to run the hard compound, or the medium compound tyre. Well, he has said he can run the hard, but he won't. So he hasn't put on the medium compound tyre, and yet he's got enough fuel and tyre wear to get to the end of this race. So I don't quite know what his strategy was there, but maybe he's thinking, look, 3 have already quit. Columbi is not needing to pit, so at the moment Columbi's over a minute behind him. So that's a good thing for him in that respect. Grizz Troopers is I think almost a lap behind him. So there's that as well. And we see Yellow Sausages going through on Old Man Jay as we speak. So he's considering that he's running in 9th. There are 14 classified from this race, so it's not a bad points haul in 9th anyway. There are still 4 races to go in this series. He knows, like I would running in there, that we're not going to finish in the top 5 really, bearing in mind who's in this room. So your aim is to finish, is to beat the guys around you, and that is people like Grizz Troopers, Columbi, when he was in Smoky Tom, Devlin, if you can, possibly Fubar, although I think Fubar probably is more a high midfield runner, knocking on the door of the top 3 than a back marker battles racer. But yeah, so for Old Man Joe, I mean, 9th is not a bad finish. So he could potentially put a challenge on 8th place. He doesn't know that Fubar's running to the end, but he might do. He might be keeping an avid view on when people are going in. But yeah, it's not going to be about it. As long as the gap stays as it is, he'll be all right. I think 9th will be his finish. Grizz sticking it out at the back there, and he's crashed his car. He's letting the Porsche of Wiggy go through, and he's back up and racing again. Didn't need to do that, buddy. We kind of agreed that you would pull over on the, not pull over, but just slow down on the straights and let them through if needs be, or just pull off the racing line on the straights. They can manage their way past you, even in the dark, of course. So, gap out front has come down a little bit. It's down to 48 seconds, which essentially he's got a free pit stop now, Yellow Sausages. He's going to need another pit stop very soon, actually, but it is pretty much a free pit stop. And it's going to be even more so because I think we're going to see a Stormfly pit before Yellow Sausages does. Yellow Sausages run at both compounds. He can put on whatever tyre he likes to finish this race. He's 48 seconds clear in that Mazda 787. He'll pit to the end for the soft tyres in probably around lap 37. Stormfly will pit at the end of this lap 35. That will give him the medium tyres till the end of this race. TJ in 3rd place will need to pit again, probably not until around lap 40, giving him a nice run of about 10 to 12 laps on medium tyres to the end of the race. And he's just done another fastest lap. Phenomenal pace. And there's not many streams go by when I don't character assassinate TJ, but to be fair, today he's been absolutely one of the best drivers out there, and just I actually think if we look at his lap times, and we look at how much time he lost through equipment problems, he would be 30 odd seconds clear of Yellow Sausages had he not had those 2 equipment failures on lap 2 and lap 5. So credit where it's due. He is, wherever he finishes, if it isn't first, he can feel hard done by, because the performance has certainly warranted a much better finish. But that is racing, unfortunately. Them's are the breaks when it comes to racing. Wiggy with quite a lot of work to do still. He's in 4th place, 26 seconds behind TJ. Still not run the medium compound tyres, or has he? I don't think he has. I could be wrong, and he has already run them. I should take notes really, but I don't. Brian Moncani, 27 seconds back. He is most certainly running to the end of this race. Plenty of fuel on board for him. Good of him to jump in and join us, of course. 20.2 seconds ahead of Avalon Shadow. Now, I'm going to be pretty honest with you. Some of the laps, especially for TJ, with 3:17.2 is absolutely phenomenal. You bear in mind that PM10 Racing, who pretty much most of the guys out here will agree, if he had been racing today, Paul, he would have been one of those that everyone would be expecting to be there or thereabouts in that top 3. His best lap round here was a 3-minute 20.2, and that was just hot lap, no other cars, nothing like that. I appreciate that the conditions are slightly different, and as the track runs in and the car gets lighter, your wheel get quicker. But for TJ to be chucking out a lap 3 seconds faster under racing conditions at night, you've got to give credit where it's due. And I think TJ will go into 2nd place here. He's got to pit in a little while, but at his current pace, if you think Stormfly is lapping around, he can do a 3:19, but his average lap is around say mid 3:21s. TJ's laps are mid 3:17, sorry. So that is 3 seconds. Well, 4 seconds in fact. 18, 19, 20, 21. So 4 seconds. So he's 4 seconds faster. So he comes through now. If he doesn't have to, if he can stay out until lap 40, and he can continue being 4 seconds a lap faster, that's 16 seconds he can make up. If he can hang out to lap 42, then we're looking at 24 seconds. I'll tell you what, if I was Stormfly, I would be looking at trying to pick up some pace here, because I think TJ might be that fly in the ointment that no one was expecting. Although, to be fair, after seeing him in qualifying, I think everyone was expecting it a little bit. So Wiggy running in 3rd place. He's managed to battle his way back up into that top 3. Some question mark on whether he ran the medium tyres yet, or if he is going to run it, how he's going to run it. But we'll see about that one. Stormfly running in 4th place now. He is going to the end of this race. So 1 hour left in this 3-hour Le Mans endurance race. We are well into the night here, and the action hasn't stopped. It is still pedal to metal racing at breakneck pace. Everyone is spread out a little bit since the pit window. Yellow Sausage is a minute clear of TJ. He's gonna pit very soon. I think probably this lap actually. We're gonna see him jump in, so that gap will close to about 30 odd seconds, maybe 40 seconds. Well, we can see here Stormfly is 7 seconds behind Wiggy, 28 seconds behind TJ. He was 20 odd seconds ahead of him when he went into the pit, so it's a 40 to 50 second pit loss. So Yellow Sausages will come out still in the lead of this race, and I think from this point onwards it's his to lose. It would only take an internet crash, an issue that's like TJ had with equipment, or him to fall asleep at the wheel for him to not win this race in the Mazda 787. However, do not count out TJ. Certainly not. I mean, that's a poor lap on the 3:19.3. He was chucking, especially when he was chucking in 3:17.2s. but I wouldn't count out TJ for certainly for second. I think a top 3 has got to be a shoo-in with his current performance, and if he doesn't finish inside the top 3, it's going to be a travesty for me. If it continues as it is, he's going to be my driver of the day, I think. There's Wiggy running in third in the 962. He is 26 seconds beyond TJ. He can run significantly longer, but I think he still needs medium tyres to finish this race. Stormfly 8.4, 8.6 back. So he's running those medium tyres. He's going to go to the end now, and he has a penalty to serve, which will just open up that gap to Wiggy. So 5th place, there's Brian Moncani. He was racing very closely with Fubar for certainly before they pit. So when we hit the pit window for everybody, they stayed out a little bit longer, and he was he was behind Fubar, and then during the pit window stayed out 1 lap longer, and that has given him 3 places. Massive difference. That later pits. 22 seconds of the gap back to Jersey. Jersey running plumb in that midfield. 6th place is slap bang in the middle of where you'd want to be when we have 14 runners, of course. So this is what you would call the midfield. 10 seconds clear of Avalon Shadow. He's on the soft compound tyres. He's going to have to pit again. Avalon Shadow can run to the end of this race. He's on the medium compound tyres. He's going to have to do a lot of fuel saving to the end here, though. He's, I'm not going to say under fuel. He never does. He would have done the math down to the litre for this race. He'll know exactly what pace he should be doing in order to finish this race with 1 litre of fuel in a tank. 1.6 seconds though. There's Fubar coming in behind. Fubar, he's got a bit more fuel on board, so he can push a little bit harder. But how long can he push for? That's the thing. Avalon will block off every opportunity. So are we going to see a battle between these 2 Porsches now? So we're heading down to complete lap 36 here at LeMans, and it is Avalon Shadow just 4 tenths up from Fubar Philantis. It's Patrick versus Phil, the battle of the P's, and they are up against it now. Big, I tell you what, Patrick was so much quicker through the Ford chicane than Fubar was there. Fubar drops almost a second through the Ford chicane over Avalon. Avalon's so quick through there, despite the fact he's big fuel saving mode. And we're just coming out into daylight. There is the sunrise. Night time is over as we head into the early morning here at LeMans. We've driven through the night. We started in the afternoon, of course. We've driven through the night, and we see the sunrise, and it's still dark on parts of the track. Look at that. It is still night time here. It's not until you get back to the pit end of the track, and I mean it's significant mileage. It's 14 kilometres this track, so you can be in day and night on the same racetrack. So chasing the sun at the minute, but the gap opening right out. Fubar not able to close up on Avalon. The gap is 2.3 seconds now. Oh man, Jay 33 seconds back. Roadrunner on his car. He still needs to run the medium compound tyres at some point between now and a lap 51, 52, which is when the race will be over. And that is a guesstimate, of course. I don't sit and do math, mainly because I can't be bothered with anything else. Columbia, there he is from Canada. I do like that livery in his car, so I'm not good at that. Now it's daylight, I can look at the liveries a bit better. And that is very, it looks a little bit like a poppy, doesn't it? That's just homage to Canada with the colours, of course. Yeah, no, I really like that, it's nice. A little bit of like it, Picasso. With the number 7 on the side, both sides, which is weird because he's running in 10th. But there we go. And Grizz Troopers, of course, he's in the darker part of the racetrack. So Yellow Sausages, here he is in the lead. 1 minute, 13 seconds clear he is in that Mazda. And he did opt for a different car, which I went out and bought and put a livery on, and then he changed his bloody mind. So technically he owes me £1 million. But we might let him off for the entertainment. There is TJ. He is locked in for the 919. He always does good liveries on his car. Of course, he is. I suppose we can't go all the way through a 3-hour stream without mentioning Jockham's Machinery, of which he is the proprietor and one of our glorious sponsors. And obviously, we thank you very much for helping us out with some of the costs associated with this lovely this thing that we do. There you go. That's all you get from me. There is Wiggy running in third place. He's doing a good job in that 962C, and certainly showing that the older cars, well, yes, Sausages and Wiggy both running older cars, but showing that the older cars really can perform well. And it's interesting actually that 3 drivers we consider to be 3 of our fastest drivers. I'm not counting Avalon's quick as well, but I think Avalon's gone for a more conservative approach this evening. But Yellow Sausages, Wiggy and Stormfly have all opted for classic LeMans cars for this particular race. We will be running another Group 1 race. That will probably be, we haven't decided for yet. We've decided what we are going to do is take Monza out. We've decided that we're definitely changing out the super formulas, and we're considering taking Monza out and putting Daytona in, because Daytona does run a 24-hour race, but it's not confirmed yet. We'll let you know. So Yellow Sausage in the pits. Jersey was in the pits. He's back out in 8th place. He's now going to run to the end on those medium compound tyres. Old man Jay, he's decided to go super racing, I think, for a middle stint here, and then do a short stint on the medium tyres. Grid Trooper's still at the back of the pack, of course. So there is TJ. How close can he get to Yellow Sausages? He does have to pit again, of course, for the medium compound tyres. One more time for him. Yellow Sausages will swap out those mediums and he'll go for the softs. And he's gone for about 3/4 of a tank of fuel. What is the gap? The true gap? So there is Yellow Sausages in the lead. He's just in front of, obviously he's racing them, it's Grid Troopers. He's ahead of 41 seconds is all, 30, 27, 22. Let's wait for that to right itself and then we'll give you a more accurate figure. So about 20 seconds is the gap. So he was at 1:13 ahead. So yes, it's almost a 60-second loss in the pits. But he had that gap, and all he needs to do now is keep it on the racetrack and bring it home, baby. Bring it home. There's TJ. He's going to pit in, I said lap 40, didn't I? I said he could bring it out to lap 42. He would open up a gap over Stormfly. He has been doing that. Not quite the 3:17s we've been seeing from him. But Stormfly is out in, and he had a really, really, really slow lap 36. This was his out lap, to be fair. But a 3:21 on those medium tyres. TJ's last lap was a 3:19. So he is opening the gap a bit, but it is a 50-odd second loss in the pits. Stormfly is 17 behind Wiggy and 31. Who's with 31 behind TJ. It's not enough to guarantee TJ second place. So TJ's going to come out on those medium tyres and have to overtake Stormfly on the racetrack if he wants to take second place. Because I think Wiggy's got to stop again. I'm certain he has to stop again for medium compound tyres. There we go. Brian Moncani is still 24 seconds back from Stormfly. That top 4 battle is pretty much decided, I think. Fubar is 35 seconds back, so he has closed up on Brian Moncani and got himself around Avalon Shadow, who's played the long game to go to the end, but I don't think it's worked out too well, because Fubar and Brian Moncani both also one-stop this and have just had a little bit more pace all the way through. So I think maybe Avalon could have upped the pace a little bit and opted to just put a bit more fuel in. But you live and learn, and we haven't run a format like this before. I know that James and Chris, Sausages and Wiggy, have both got full 24-hour experience and run a few hour stints in an actual full 24-hour race. But mostly, no one's got experience in this kind of thing. And I think the longest races generally do an hour long. So, where is Jersey come out? He's come out 38 seconds back. He's run the medium tyres to the end. It's going to be a big, big task to close up on Avalon Shadow. That's 38 seconds back. A lot of work to do. Sorry, excuse me. I shouldn't be yawning. I should be wide awake and joyful. 38 seconds back from Avalon. It's going to be a big task. Bearing in mind the lap times of Avalon are pretty decent in comparison to Jersey. Old Man Jay does have to stop again, just to put on some medium tyres and a splash of fuel. But for this stint, he is going full beans. He ran it really, really long to the midway point for stint number 1, just being a bit conservative with his tyre and fuel. This time out, he's decided to have a bit of a smash and go for it and come in and a little splash and go with the medium compound tyres at the end. Might nick the place off of Jersey. In terms of lap times, very comparable. The only problem is John Jay obviously has to pit, so it's going to cost him around 50 seconds. So TJ, I said lap 40 was his pit window. I've got to admit, it's pretty damn close with that one. He will come in at the end of lap 40. He will put on the medium compound tyres and fuel to the end. The gap to Yellow Sausages is down to 16 seconds as TJ puts in another fastest lap of the race. Now, let's just quickly put that into perspective, okay? So, TJ's done a 3:17.1. The next fastest person on the racetrack has only done a 3:19 mid. And that was Stormfly. Now, TJ would be significantly in the lead in this race. He's 16 seconds behind Yellow Sausage, and yes, he does have to pit again, and yes, that's a 50-second loss. But he had equipment failure on lap 2, and again on lap 5, which cost him about a minute each time. So if you factor in that that's cost him 2 minutes, he would currently be sitting a minute, 1 minute 40 seconds, give or take, ahead with one pit stop to do at the current pace he's doing. And I'll tell you what, I can't see him catching Yellow Sausages with the time that's left in these last 45 minutes of the race. I can't see him doing it, but the only reason he hasn't won this race is purely because of that, purely because of the equipment failure. You know, he's made it all, and he had, and actually his night time here at LeMans was absolutely phenomenal. So anyone, if you were watching this live and you went to bed when it got dark and saw where he was then, and you got up in the morning and saw this, you would be like, what the fuck is going on? Because he's absolutely, from when it got dark to when the lights came back on, he's been, and it hasn't stopped. It's been relentless from him, absolutely relentless. And I'll tell you what, the adrenaline that must be coursing through his veins as he's chasing down Yellow Sausages, and to be fair as well, to have that equipment failure twice early on as he did, and to not overdrive and make silly mistakes, all credit to him. And he comes in on lap 40 just as I predicted, because I am good at this shit. Oh yes. And so there we go. Yellow Sausages is the current leader. That 15 seconds will very quickly become a minute and something as TJ goes into the pits from second. Wiggy is close enough to take second place from him at this time, but will need to pit again. So between now and the end of the race, he will be in the pits. 34 seconds was the gap. Whereas TJ's still there, very, very slow in the pits at the minute, and there's his number 2 on the side of his car, just to let everybody know where he sits. There is Stormfly. Now, Stormfly is running in 4th. He's in that Nissan R92. He's going to the end of the race, however, but I don't think he's certainly not close enough to catch TJ. Will he be close enough to catch Wiggy when Wiggy goes in? That's the question. So here we go. TJ comes out of the pits. He's going to be the man to watch. His gap to the leader is 1 minute 3 seconds. There is not enough laps left in this race for him to make up that 1 minute deficit. He's only lapping. I mean, if he does 3:17.1, which obviously he won't do now. He's on the medium compound tyres to the end, so the pace is going to be off that kind of pace now. I can't see what he can do to beat Chris. Chris has done his stint on the mediums. He's on those soft compound tyres. He's 49 seconds ahead, almost a pit stop ahead of Whitney, who's going to have to pit for the medium tyres. Yes, that's going to put TJ back up into second place, but certainly not close enough to Yellow Sausages to make any kind of impact on him. But we'll see come the end of this race just where once Wiggy's got in and done his stop, and Old Man Jay's done his stop, and all that, then we'll know. Then we'll really know where everybody sits in the scheme of things. And there's a battle going on between Old Man Jay and Jersey at the moment, by the looks of things. Did one of them have a little crash? It certainly looks like Jersey did. Jersey looks like he's had been caught from behind. Was that Old Man Jay that caught him from behind? Because they were having a bit of a battle between them. And now it's 4.2 seconds. There is no damage on the front of Jay's car, but there is damage on the rear of Jersey's. So who knows what's going on there. So we've lost 3 from this race. We had South African jump in, some random South African jump in and join us. We said, it's a 3-hour race. It's like, yeah, cool. And then into the turn at the end of the first chicane at the end of the first straight on lap 1. Absolutely melts the back of a couple of people. Changed up the order. Races for a bit longer and then decides to fuck off. Devin Calypso jumped in. He knew it was a 3-hour race before he came in. Don't know whether it was a disconnection, whether he rage quit, but it looked to me like he wasn't happy with his position, and off he went. And then 55 minutes in, Smoky Tom also had enough and running around the back of the pack, and decided he was much better off sitting on his sofa and watching on YouTube. And there we go. It is what it is. It is what it is. We have got 4 more races in this series. Next will be Spa in the GR2s. We started with a lobby of 14 today, 1 shy of a full lobby. If we can make it 15 in the next race, which is in 2 weeks' time, that would be phenomenal. But while we're doing this, let's tell you why we're doing it and tell you why you should send us your money. 1 in 15 people will attempt suicide in their lifetime. And the Charity Mind are trying to stop that, which is why I'm going to stream 15 hours of racing over the next month and a bit. These guys are going to do 15 hours of racing for me to stream, and hope we can find some money for mine, send it to them, and they can help some people out.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
A donation of £20 could help 167 people take their first steps in getting mental health support through Mind's booklets.
Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.
Thank you very much. I'm glad that you don't disappear every time I put that up. You know why we're doing it. So, full rundown, shall we? As we see Stormflight into the pits. Why is he pitting? He didn't need to pit. Or is he thinking, I'll tell you what he's thinking is, maybe he's putting on soft compound tyres because he's going to have a go. That's an interesting turn of events. Very interesting turn of events there for Stormfly. So, Yellow Sausages is in the lead of this race. 3:20.0, his fastest lap. That is nearly 3 seconds slower than TJ's fastest lap at 3:17.1. But in a straight line, this Mazda 787 is crazy fast. He's 49 seconds ahead of Wiggy at the moment. He does need to pit again before the end of this race for the medium compound tyre. We are 2 hours 22 minutes into this 3-hour race here at Le Mans. We have gone from afternoon into evening, right through the night, and we're now back in early morning. We've seen the sunrise, and now it is just a full-on race to back into the afternoon here at the Circuit de la Sarthe in the north of France. TJ running in third place. He's running to the end of this race now on those medium tyres. He's 16 seconds back from Wiggy, who does need to pit. He's had a torrid day today, but absolutely been on it like a car bonnet. Cannot fault his performance by any stretch of the imagination, and been the fastest man on track significantly. And be good to see what kind of pace he's got on the medium tyres, because on the softs he's 3 seconds quicker than anybody else. Or well, certainly 2 seconds quicker than anybody else. Stormfly's the only other man that's gone sub 3 minutes 20, and it's been a long time since he's done that. Stormfly opted to switch out to the soft tyres and go racing to the end. So that's his plan. He clearly thinks he can close down TJ. I think that's what he's after. But he's got a lot of work to do if he's going to do that. Or actually, do you know what? I think he's eyeing Wiggy. Maybe he knows that Wiggy's got a pit again, right? So this is my thought here. So he's considered that Wiggy needs to go in again for the medium tyres because he hasn't run them yet. He knows that TJ's 16, 17 seconds behind Wiggy, and he knows that Brian was behind him, but he's not going to be too far ahead of him. He knows that he can't catch TJ, but I suppose you might think he can catch TJ. He's got a lot of work to do in sort of 10 laps if he wants to catch him, but credit to him if he can. And he's going to be about 8 to 10 laps. He knows he can catch Brian. At the minute he's 16 seconds back from him. And was he 8 seconds back? And did he just have a spin? Because I'm sure he was just 8 seconds back. He's now 16, 17 seconds back. So did he have a little whoopsie? Maybe. Who knows? We know that we know one lap pace Stormfly can go very, very quick. We also know that when he pushes, sometimes he goes right to the limit and beyond it and into a wall. So this is what I think his game plan. I think he knew he was on the medium side. He was doing okay, but not super racing. But he knows on the soft tyres he can go racing. He should be able to close down Brian Moncani, BM Racing, although not if he keeps cocking up, he won't. And hopefully catch Wiggy for a top 3 spot. Don't know. I think it really depends on the next few laps and how quick he is. That wasn't a great lap from him, but that was an out lap, wasn't it? So I think we'll wait and see what his next lap is before we pass judgment. So Yellow Sausages is 49 seconds clear of Wiggy. Wiggy needs to stop again at some point in the next probably 4 or 5 laps. In fact, he'll run these softs if he's got no fuel, and then he'll come in and put on the medium tyres and run to the end. That will promote TJ up into second place. He will be able to run to the end of this race with the fuel that he has left. 3:20, so he's actually not significantly slower on the mediums. He's still relatively, he's quicker than some people on the softs, on the mediums. He's not going to go 3:17.1 again. Is that what Stormfly's eyeing? Does Stormfly think he can get a 3:17.1 in that, in this, maybe not. Right, let's have a look from the back running forward. We lost 3 drivers. We've lost Smokey Tom, we've lost Devlin Calypso, and we lost a South African dude whose name escapes me. He wasn't signed up, he wasn't one of ours, we don't know who he was, and he was a dick into the first chicane. Anyway, so not too bothered about losing him. It just pisses me off when people rage again, that's all. But there we go. But Grid Troopers is a couple of laps down on pretty much everyone at the moment. And did we see Grid Troopers disappearing? No, that was Colombia. In the tyres. He was running really well in the first stint. I think tyres started to set in now, and he's dropped off a little bit, but he's now back on the racing soft tyres. 51 seconds is the gap to Old Man Jay. It's a long way to go, but Old Man Jay does need to pit again for a set of racing tyres. I hear you cry. The plot thickens. So Colom's not out of it yet. Old Man J 2.6 behind Jersey. Jersey's on the medium tyres, and Old Man J is lapping a little bit faster at the moment. He will catch him, but because he's got a pit again, he's got to get past him and then go 50 odd seconds up the road for it to mean anything important. And 50 seconds up the road from Jersey, which is where Old Man J wants to be, is this man here, Avalon Shadow. He set out from the outset to one-stop this race. And I don't think he was expecting quite as many people to do it as well. He went very much longer than anybody else, but it hasn't really worked out for him. It would have been better, I think, to have pitted a bit earlier and been a bit quicker. It seems to me that those that have two stopped and gone balls out seem to have performed a lot better. We look at TJ, we know TJ's been very quick, but he's in the same car, and he would have stopped this race. Is it 3 stops or 2 stops? No, he's 2 stops. 2 stops this race. So there we go. But yeah, so ahead of Fubar, 22 seconds. He's on the medium tyres. There is Stormfly. He's 14 seconds behind Brian Moncani now, so he has taken 4 seconds out of him in that last lap. Brian Moncani lapping around the 223 mid. 223 to 224 mid. Stormfly back on those soft tyres, sub 3 minute 20. So if he can continue that kind of pace, he's going to be on Brian like a rash on a cheap whore within 3 or 4 laps time. 4, 8, 12, 16. So yeah, about 4 laps time. So around lap 48, he's been crawling over Brian. By then as well, Wiggy will have pit for his medium compound tyres, and who knows where he's going to be. TJ will be back up into 2nd place. And that's of course unless he has another malfunction. I'm assuming that's what it was. It was a steering wheel malfunction of some kind. So it was either a malfunction or I don't know, whatever happened that caused this problem. But he'll be back up into 2nd place. Wiggy, I think, if we look at he will probably come out in between Brian, BM Racing, and TJ. So somewhere in between there is where he's going to pop out. So in 3rd place after his pit. The problem is then going to be where is the Stormfly going to be at that stage. He is super pushing now. That gap is now down to 11 seconds. He's got a half a second penalty, but I don't think that's going to stop him. The other thing I think as well is Stormfly is, as he burns off the fuel, he's going to have a crack at that 3:17.1 of TJ's. Nobody else has been close to that. This is the man you've got to commend though. He has absolutely dominated this race from the beginning. He's his first time actually, he hadn't gone sub 320 all race. He's then done a 319, he's now just done a 381. Full 1 second slower than TJ. Is he going to have a go at trying to emulate that? And I suspect he probably will. So 3:18.14, Yellow Sausages, 51 seconds now is his lead at front of this race. And to be fair, from when he took the lead of this race, it's never really been in doubt, I don't think. There's Wiggy in 2nd place. He does have to pit one more time for one more compound of tyres. Didn't have the greatest of starts, but will find himself there or thereabouts come the end of this race. TJ had one of the worst starts you can imagine. His pace not so good on those medium compound tyres. Maybe there is another story to be told, because at the moment he's a couple of seconds a lap slower, 3 seconds a lap slower almost, than Stormfly. So in order for Stormfly to catch him though, he's going to need more than 10 laps, so I can't see that happening, to be honest. Cannot see it happening. Brian Moncani, he is running to the end of this race, but he's got a very quick Stormfly hunting him down. So he's the gazelle bounding through the forest, and Stormfly is the prowling lion ready to jump out and bite the shit out of him and have him for dinner. But at the moment the gap is still 12 seconds, and Stormfly might be going racing, but he's not going racing quickly enough. Fubar Philantis, he is 25 seconds back from Stormfly. and as a result, he is 30 odd seconds back from Brian Moncani. They had a good battle earlier on, but that battle is no longer raging. Fubar in a place of his own on the racetrack at the minute. He's got no one for miles. Avalon Shadow 39 seconds behind. He's running to the end of this race, but actually he's going to have to be really... Or is it? Is he running to the end of this race now? I'm looking. We've still got half hour left, and I'm not entirely sure he can. I think he's had to change his strategy. I think he's realised he needs to go racing. So, I'm not sure how many of these are going to the end of this race now. Looking at people's fuel, and I'm wondering if some of these people have to stop again, you know. I don't know. I don't know is the answer. I think they've pushed a little bit harder in the second stint, and it's costing them fuel. Let's see. Maybe Avalon does need to stop again. There's still half hour left. It's a long way to go on that fuel. He went, what, an hour and a half on a full tank. He's still got to do half hour on a quarter tank. I think we're going to need... I think there's a few more stops here. Yellow Sausages will run to the end. Wiggy definitely has to stop. TJ will go to the end. Brian Moncani will go to the end. Stormfly will go to the end. Fubar, touch and go for me. Avalon, I said this when he pit, that he would have worked it out to the actual meter, and I'm going to claim he's not going to have enough. But I genuinely don't think he does. I don't think he can run to the end and be racing. Jersey's going to the end, and Jersey can push because he's got more than enough fuel to get him to the end of this race. He's only 10 seconds behind Avalon, and he's lapping on anywhere between 24 to sort of 26. Avalon is 25-30, had a really bad lap with a 54. Does that mean he's now just going to up the pace now because he had that bad lap, maybe? Don't know is the question, is the answer. What is the question? I don't know that either. So Jersey is 8.3 seconds behind Avalon and closing fast. He can smell blood. They're both on medium compound tyres. Old man Jay hasn't run the mediums yet. Will need to stop again. He probably would have had enough to go to the end of this race if he'd put on those medium compound tyres, but he's going to have to stop for them, or he will get penalty for not running them completely. Columbi, he can go to the end just has to be a little bit careful with those tyres, with the fuel at this stage, and not push too hard. Tyres will be fine, of course, but 52 seconds is the gap to Old Man Jay. Grizz Troopers back on lap 43, will definitely run to the end of this race, and could probably go a little bit further as well with that fuel. There's your race leader, Yellow Sausages, just coming round into the final few sectors, which is, I was going to say it's trickier for these older cars, but he's making it look damn easy today, is Yellow Sausages, and 52 seconds clear. He could, if he so wished, go into the pits, put on a set of intermediate tyres and still win this fucking race again. There is Wiggy. Wiggy's going to pit in the next couple of laps. What did I say we get to? I said we get to lap 52. So 3 minutes a lap. We've got, so we've probably got 56 actually. 55, 54, 55. Yeah, so say 3.5 minutes a lap. 3:69. So 3 laps every 10 minutes. Yeah, probably got another 6 laps left. 6, 7, 8 laps left. Yeah, so let's say 50. Let's say 54 or 55. So 9 laps left to the end of this race is what I'm going with. So he's not going to make that. Absolutely not going to make that. TJ with a penalty to serve is slightly quicker. Well, actually, no, he's not. Brian Moncani quicker than him at the moment. So is that a little bit of a spanner in the works for Stormfly? He is closing down on Brian Moncani, but bear in mind that he's got to get Brian Moncani first before he can start working on any gain he's going to get from the additional, probably unnecessary, pit stop to the soft compound tyres. He had the fuel and tyres to run to the end, but opted to ditch those medium compounds and put on some racing softs. That allowed Brian Moncani to go through with a 10-second gap over him. He's going racing now, Stormfly, the Dutchman. And the Dutchmen have been very quick today, actually. The two Dutchmen were the first two to go sub 320. Of course, since then, Yellow Sausages has gone sub 19. TJ has gone sub 18 with a 317.1. He won't be beating that now. He's on the medium compound tyres to the end. But I can't see. Well, look, I can see that being beaten because we know it's doable because TJ's done it. And they're going to be on low fuel, low tyres towards the end of this track, and it's going to have loads of rubber on the track. So maybe we'll see a sub 317. Will that be from Yellow Sausages? Will that be from Stormfly? At the moment, Stormfly is absolutely storming and flying and trying his best to close up on a guaranteed third place. There is Wiggy running in second. We can see the fuel depletion on that car now. He will be coming into the pits at the end of this lap 47 here, and then giving himself sort of 8 more laps to the end of the race on some on medium compound tyres. So very surprised actually at how many people, well not how many, not that many, but yeah, I am surprised that anybody really has opted for medium tyres to the end that hasn't won Stop This Race. So if you had 3 stints available to you, why would you not run those mediums in the middle one of those stints and then be racing at the beginning or racing at the end? I don't know. But then it's all well and good me sitting here. I can sit here and criticise all day long. The fact of the matter is that my pace would put me, well, probably slower than Grid Troopers, to be fair. I think me and Grid Troopers would be having would have had a little battle back there until he fucked off up the road and left me behind. So I don't know what I'm talking about. Absolute talking rubbish. But then I haven't done. These guys have done probably the same amount of laps in practice as they've done in this race, and I've done about 15, 20 laps tops all week. So what are our potential outcomes now? So we're currently running, as we're running at the moment, we've got Yellow Sausages in the lead, 55 seconds from Wiggy, who has to pit. TJ in third, he will take second place. Brian Moncani will promote to third, possibly. Stormfly will go to fourth, but he is now challenging Brian Moncani for the chance for a top 3 here. Fubar Ferrantis running in 6th currently. Avalon running in 7th, went for the one-stop strategy, hasn't worked. Now has decided to go balls out and might have to pit again. He's got about 20 minutes with 15 minutes left. He might still have to pit again, but he's certainly not going to finish inside that top 6 with the current guys. He's got Jersey hunting him down, and Jersey's got loads and loads of fuel and loads of tyre to try and close down Avalon. So I think Avalon is going to have some American pressure behind him, and we'll see how that pressure tells in a few laps' time when that starts to unfold. Old Man Joe running in 9th place. He still needs to run the medium compound tyre, and he's probably got enough fuel going to the end. So I don't know when he's going to put that on. I suppose he's looking at the time behind. He knows it's a 50-odd second loss going into the pits. Although he doesn't really need to put much fuel. He can put I suppose if you're going in, you put a little splash in, but that's all you really need is a little splash. Puts a little splash in, then that could potentially give him an edge over Column. Let's be fair. Column is in the position that he's on. He's going to be on old racing soft tyres, and if he does get ahead of Old Man Joe, he's going to be ahead of him, but he's going to have a man behind him on fresh softs with a point to prove. Grizz Troopers, as we know, is at the rear of the pack. So I think Yellow Sausage is going to win this race, and it will take a miracle or a tragic accident for anything to change that. At the moment, the battle for second is going to be TJ and Stormfly, because Wiggy will be pitting at the end of this lap. I thought he was going to pit at the end of the last lap, but he decided to go one more, and I'm not sure. I think he probably should have just gone in the end of the last lap and not had to worry about saving fuel, because that's looking ropey. He might be alright. He's coming up to Indianapolis now, and then of course straight after Indianapolis he'll be into Amage, then straight, so Indianapolis, then on the power again. He is indeed your your Canadian teammate from ART. Well spotted there, my friend. Where is he? Let's go on board for him. Mr. Collum, there he is, running in 10th place at the moment. Potentially looking at 9th. It's not as bad as you think. I know that 11th is last place, but 3 have dropped off this race for whatever reason. So actually he's running... there would have been 4 people behind him, essentially. He may get ahead of Old Man J yet. Old Man J still needs to run one more compounded tyre. But you know, it's a 50-odd second loss with fuel, and Jay's probably got there or thereabouts enough to the end of this race that he doesn't have to fuel, but he does have to put tyres on. Wiggy in the pits. We knew he had to go in. This is what he's going to put on the medium compound tyre. Now TJ will go through and into second place. He's not going to catch Yellow Sausages at this stage. Absolutely not going to catch him. Yellow Sausages dominating this race, and he has done from minute 1, and it's never been in doubt for me. Never been in doubt. From once he took the lead of this race, he was in full control. So TJ is 1 minute 17 seconds behind Yellow Sausages for second place. Now the big question here is going to be... No, he's doing a really good job, to be fair. Doing a really, really good job. And in all fairness, he was running a little bit higher. It's one of those races that you start to lose concentration late on. It's difficult to get the strategy right. And you know, not many people have raced this number of hours either. I think there's only 2 guys out there that I know of that have ever done anything of this kind of length. Particularly at such you know, you've not just got the daylight, you've got to deal with the night time, you've got to deal with different conditions, and you've got different cars out there. And he has opted actually for a very different car than everybody else. We've got a lot of the Porsches out there. He's the only one in that GR010 hybrid. But maybe it's the experience we're using, because that was in Fusion, that car, so maybe the experience we're using that has helped. So, but here's the situation. So we've got Yellow Sausages 1 minute 17 seconds clear in the 787, and that's been the dominant car. He's been getting up to 220 mile an hour on the straights, and that is making a massive difference, and it's offsetting the little bit of time you lose having to lift through. Excuse me, having to lift through through these corners. These corners he's going through here. You can usually. You can do these flat out in the Porsche. You can't really do that in the Mazda, unfortunately. But there we go. TJ is 1 minute 19 behind. He's losing so much time to him. He is the fastest man out there. He is 1 second quicker than anyone else who's been able to go with a 3:17.1. He did that in the middle of the night and got himself up the order there. And I'll tell you what, whatever the race result, and I'm going to congratulate Yellow Sausages now on a job well done. But TJ's performance, bearing in mind that he was second, he lost 2 minutes to what looked like technical failure of steering wheel in 2 separate occasions. So a minute each time he lost, and he is now back in second place. Now the thing is, Chris needs to get another, if he puts another 40 seconds on the board and finishes more than 2 seconds ahead of TJ, then he's first. Whatever happened, TJ never would have caught him. But if TJ stays within that 2 minutes, then it's more a case of what might have been if something hadn't broken. So there we go, TJ running in second place, 1 minute 20 behind. Wiggy is 19 seconds back. He's on the medium compound tyres. He has just lapped Column, and he's got Brian Moncarney 31 seconds back. But Stormfly, he's about to regain 4th place. Stormfly took a bit of a gamble. He was on the medium compound tyres with enough fuel to take him to the end of this race, and took a bit of a gamble to go in and put in some soft tyres that he might be able to nick a podium. Hasn't worked out that way, and Brian Moncarney is staying ahead of him at the moment. Really good performance from BM Racing, to be fair, and it's giving Stormfly a bit of a headache, I think, trying to get around BM Racing. But there's a few laps still to go. With 10 minutes left to go in this race, with 12 minutes left. So essentially, lap 52 will be our last lap. I think, yeah, lap 52. Let's go with that. What's Chris on? He's on lap 50. 53 for him, maybe. Maybe fucking 58 for him. So Stormfly's job at the moment is it's number 1, close on Brian Moncarney. Number 2, get Brian Moncarney. But you can see the difference. That really is because Brian Moncarney is running in the, as you can see, the Porsche 919. Stormfly in that Nissan R92. And you'll see the difference here. So, 3.5 seconds back he is at the moment. He's on soft tyres, Brian Moncarney on the medium tyres. So you'll see through this first sector here, the gap will open up a little bit where it's twisty and turny. Wait till we hit the straights and you'll see a massive difference. That gap will close right down again. Stormfly will be able to close that gap down to within a second. And then again when he hits that sector straight after Indianapolis, LeMans, and then through the Porsche curves, Corvette curves. Once he's done all that, the gap will open back out again. So here we go. So we're on the straight. Look at the gap closing already. That's the massive difference in the straight line speed between these two cars. And you can see why Yellow Sausages, Wiggy, and Stormfly have gone for these older Group 1 cars, because the straight line speed is just ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. And he can really close up, but he's got to capitalise on it while he's using this speed, while he's closing down. And I think the problem is that the Porsche being so strong around the rest of the racetrack that it's opening up a gap. But does he make the move here up into the chicane? He's side by side, but get under braking. 919 just edging it. He's going to have 2 more opportunities at straights to make this move, and then he's got to try and hold him at bay through the tricky sections, through Indianapolis, and then through Porsche, and then through Corvette, and then down into the Ford chicane, and then around Dunlop. So he makes the move there. He's up into 4th place. The gap to Wiggy is 28 seconds. There are 2 laps remaining in this race. Or let's say 3 laps remaining. But there we go, straight away again. The 919 makes that overtake. And he's going to close up again with that straight line speed and make the move again and get ahead. And then watch the 919 now. It won't be able to keep up yet, but you wait. As soon as we go around the corner, then we're going to see the difference. So look at Stormfly, opens up the gap. 1.6, 1.7, 1.8 seconds it'll open to. Then under braking, the gap closes right down. Indianapolis, done. Then we're into a marge, and that turn is now done. And look at the gap closing again. We're on the straight, the gap will open right out again. Or will it? Because Stormfly serves a penalty. Brian Moncarney through, and we go again. So Stormfly now is going to lose so much time through this sector. Into the Porsche curves, then into the Corvette curve, then into the Ford chicane, then through Dunlop, and only then, once you get past the S's, can Stormfly start to close the gap again. And the key has got to be to keeping that gap under 3 seconds if you can. Keep it under 2 seconds, but look at the difference here again. The gap just opens right out every time through that section. It just goes to show the difference in performance in these cars. 26 seconds is the gap to Wiggy. So Stormfly got to hold on. It's 3.9. It's going to be over 4 seconds by the time we get to the straight. But you watch the difference then when we get there. We'll see it right here. We'll close up here. Then then the exit from each corner, the Porsche will pull away, and then we'll see again. It's just so close every time. I do love the livery on that car. It's very, very cool. Very, very cool, Mr. Stormfly in that Nissan. Now this is the view we want. We want to see this view here. So here we go. On the power now. Just watch how quickly he closes down. There's a blue flag for somebody. Can that help? I don't know who it is the blue flag is for. But look at this. The gap closes. Look how quickly that closes. 200. Look how quickly it gets up to speed. And here he goes. Breezes past. There a little bit of slipstream help from Grizz Troopers. Gets to the first chicane. Into there very quickly. Which changed down to second gear. Back on the power again. Look how quickly this accelerates up to 215 miles an hour. And bear in mind that at that time the Porsche is doing no more than 170. By the time it gets to the end of the straight, the Porsche is maybe doing 185. 200, 205, 210 into the slipstream. 215 miles an hour. Going to absolutely breeze past. He's blocking it off. Every right to do so. He's holding ahead. And Brian knows that all he has to do is hold Stormfly at bay through this sector. Through these sectors, should I say. And if he can do that for another 2 laps, then he's going to be successful. But this is where it gets dangerous. So this is where Stormfly makes the move. He again gets ahead. And then under braking, look at this again. Brian Moncani, much better exit. In behind the Nissan. And bang, same thing again. If Stormfly can avoid a penalty here, this is going to be his opportunity. Here comes the move. And he's passed and he's through. So, we're going to see Brian Moncani. He's going to watch the car disappear. And Stormfly needs a 4-second gap. That's the only thing that's going to keep him ahead of Brian Moncani to the end of this race. So it's 1.8 seconds, 1.7, 1.6. We'll see it close. It'll close to under a second as they go into a marsh. There we go, up down to under a second. Now this is where Stormfly needs that power to help him. You'll see Brian Moncani getting close, and then watch the Nissan. Bye-bye, Brian. That's what he said, and off goes that R92. So quick in a straight line. But this is where Brian can really close up now into the full power all the way through. Really closing up. But Stormfly can block him off, or can he? They touch a little bit there. Brian's got to back off now. He can't get through him. He can't touch him. He goes round him there though. That is brilliant driving. So here we go. Stormfly didn't make it stick. So Stormfly's got to get ahead of him, or at least stay this kind of distance behind him, going through Dunlop. He's not going to lose as much time here. He'll lose a little bit in this section. It's straight, so he will close up a bit. We are going to be, well, are we on the final lap yet? No, we're not. So we've got 2 more laps to go. We can't look at anything else, because right now, this is where all the battle is to be watched. These two have changed places 6 times, 7 times in the last couple of laps. So Stormfly, he's got to play the game now. He's got to keep this gap down. It's got to be under 2 seconds for me when they get into the straight. It's the only way he's going to be able to, because he needs to build a 4-second gap. The 4-second gap is the only saving grace he's got. And this is where it changes. So 2.3, 2.4 seconds, 2.7, 2.8, and then bang, it will start to tumble as this Nissan R92 gets up to full pelt. And you look at Brian Moncani, he's doing 180. Stormfly now doing 220 almost. There we go, 220. If he gets the pass down here, this might be the difference he needs. And into the braking zone and just has to back off. But he's really close to him here, so he can make this count as they come into the second part of the straight. So we'll see the 919 start to pull away. Then it all changes at this point here. Soon as this Nissan hits 4th gear, everything changes for the 919. He's going to get the move done a little bit earlier this time, which is what he needs. He needs a bit more straight to open this gap out as Brian Moncani sees that Nissan disappearing. The gap out to 1 second. It will close significantly here. At the moment, Brian's not worried. He knows that every time there's a corner, he's going to close right up on him. And then the Nissan again, off it goes. Up the road. It's going to open up a big gap again. Not huge enough though. This time though, I think Stormfly's done enough to stay ahead out of here. And then he's got 1 more straight, which will help him. So he keeps in. The gap will close down to under a second again. Doesn't this time. So Stormfly needs 4 seconds This is what you need, 4 seconds between now and Indianapolis. Can he get there? Because it will start to close. This is when it starts to open. Watch. Bang. There we go. This is such a good battle. I mean, if you look at the distance between these two cars, you wouldn't think that it would all change so much in the succession of essentially 7 or 8 corners. And we look at the difference here now. Stormfly's going to get one more bit of straight, and that's all that's left for him to stay ahead. Now, he needs 4 seconds. If he can stay ahead of Brian Moncani coming into the final lap, I think he's going to win. He's going to nick 4th place. Well, it's not nick 4th place. He had 4th place. He gave it up to pit stop for the soft tyres in a ploy to try and force his way into the top 3. And Brian Moncani not close enough, but that gap closing down. Is there a move here now? And Brian Moncani just gives it too much beans. Has to back off, but he's still really close. That Nissan struggling through the final section there. A penalty for Brian Moncani, and that could be all that Stormfly needs, because that penalty is going to be served in a very, very dangerous place where Stormfly would normally be quite vulnerable early on. So Brian Moncani will make the move here. He's just going to have the speed, although he's going to have to back off into Dunlop here, because you can't go 2 abreast around Dunlop unless you are insane or want to die. And so through the Dunlop chicane, under the iconic Dunlop footbridge, and he'll make the move up the inside here and take that inside line, but Stormfly close enough now to make a difference. And we will go on board with Yellow Sausages very soon. In fact, we should do it now because he's going to finish the race soon. Yes, let's do it. So Yellow Sausages is about to win this race, and 3 hours of phenomenal driving from beginning to end for this guy right here. That's the one we want. That's the view we want. As he's coming around to lap up to 6th place, which is Fubar. So what a phenomenal race from this guy. All the plaudits. Actually, is he going to make it another lap? I don't think he is. I think he's close enough. He could probably just stop at the line, to be fair. He's slowing up a little bit. And there is your... I know he's got another lap. Yellow Sausages makes it through for another lap. So Fubar finishes the race in 6th place. Avalon Shadow will finish in 7th place, I think. Yeah. Just trying to work out who's closer to finishing now. Let's see if it's going to be Avalon or TJ. There, so Avalon Shadow will come home in 7th place. Can't believe Yellow Sausage made that. Should have just put the brakes on and finished it where he did. But no, good running from him. Avalon Shadow there, he will come home in 7th, 8th place for Jersey. Very close to almost caught him. Old man Jay, I think it'll be TJ next, surely. TJ will come home in 2nd, and what a drive from him. Yellow Sausages, absolutely brilliant, absolutely dominated start to finish. But you can't watch this race and see the efforts that TJ put in and not have maximum respect for that. And today, TJ, today is the day you do not get called a bell end. What a race from you, absolutely phenomenal. Wiggy will come home in 3rd, but not before Old Man Jay comes home in 9th place. Then we go back to Wiggy. This is the difficult thing about a race this long. You have to flick it up and down to find out who is where on the racetrack. PD, you could sort this out if you like. So here we go, Wiggy coming home in 3rd place. Good solid finish from Wiggy actually to come home in 3rd in that Porsche. So 3 classic cars in the top 4. And then of course one Porsche 919. Dangerous in his hands it is. Dangerous. There's Wiggy in 3rd place. Next will be Columbia or Stormfly. Stormfly, yeah, I think Stormfly. So Stormfly, what a charge down on Brian Moncani. He did finally get that 4 seconds he needed. Once he got ahead, never in doubt. But what a last few laps from those two. Really brilliant. 3 hours of racing, you would have thought by then they wouldn't have the stomach for it. But no, brilliant. Brian Moncani, he'll come home in 5th place. Brilliant position from him. Columbia in 11th. Grid Troopers will be in 11th place. He'll cross the line. There he goes in that 919 into the final chicane, the Ford chicane. To cross the line and finish in 11th place. But all the plaudits for this man here. Yellow Sausages in that Mazda 787. Changed his mind about the car at the very last minute. Could ask him back for my million credits, but I'm not going to. Changed his mind in the last minute about the car. Switched out to this Mazda 787. And what a decision that proved to be. He's so far ahead, he didn't even get to see him cross the line. So there we go. There is your victor after 3 hours racing here. A full 24-hour cycle at Le Mans. There's your champion. Yellow Sausages wins this race from TJ with Wiggy Home in third. And then we had, I forgot his name, Stormfly, coming home in fourth place with a brilliant last few laps between him and BM Racing. Well, what can we say? That was absolutely phenomenal. So good. I fully expected by the end of that race no one to have anything left, any kind of energy or anything like that, but it's been brilliant. They've really stuck it out all the way through, and I'll tell you what a finish that was. So nothing more to say really than thank you very much for those of you that have stayed with me for this time. I know some have been dipped in and out and said hello and all that, but thanks for watching the video at any time, and please, the whole point of this is to raise some money for a very worthy cause. Please stick some money in and make this all worthwhile. I could hang around for ages and waffle, but we've been here for hours already. So all that's left to say is that I've been Urban Pirate. This has been Black Flag Racing with the 3-hour endurance at Le Mans. Coming up next on Black Flag Racing TV is Black Flag versus the Lithuanian Racing Club. That's tomorrow from 7:15. We will be at Nordschleife. But thanks for joining me, and I will see you tomorrow. It's been emotional.
Mental health problems affect 1 in 4 of us. Join Mind now in the fight for mental health.